Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. You are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen, because it is our second annual Christmas special spectacular. Can you feel it? Can you feel the energy? I know I can. And let me just get this right out in the open right now, right at the very beginning. The subject matter for this show, the idea came 100% from my wife, Mary. She suggested it a few weeks ago, and I'm like, that's a good idea. So we're going to go with that. So my wife, Mary, gets all the credit for the subject matter. Now, the picks are our picks, and we're going to do a top 10 Christmas characters from a movie or Christmas special on TV. And we got to be specific because you can't just say Santa Claus. No, which Santa Claus? Santa Claus from Rudolph, Santa Claus from the Santa Claus like Bad Santa Claus. You got to be specific to which movie because there might be two Santa Clauses that make your list from two different movies or two different shows. You know what I mean? So I know we already did our list. I'm just explaining it to the audience. Guys, first of all, how are you? Happy holidays. How we feeling? Are we in the Christmas spirit? What's going on?
Absolutely. It's getting cold.
You got two little ones, Matt. So you're going to be in the Christmas spirit for a decade and a half.
Oh, we're keeping them away with sticks right now. You know, it's crazy. The energy is nuts. All the Christmas is upstairs. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have with the tree. I got on one of the lights on the ceiling has like a disco like Christmas bulb.
Oh man!
So it spins the red and green, and then you know how when you drive past someone's house, they have like the projector lights that go like on like the front of a house, and the patterns change. It's the projector that comes from the ground. Well, I got one of them facing one of my walls in my ceiling in our dining room. And I have one of them outside in front of our house. So I am good to go. I am loaded up with lights.
Oh, my goodness.
Michelle, you seem like someone who really is into decorating and feeling the spirit of the holidays. What you got going on at your house?
Was that me that you were asking?
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, I got like lights outside, and I don't know if you'd like over here. This is a Santa. I don't know if it's clear or not. And then I have a big snowman one over there, like the blow molds, you know, the old school blow molds. I usually keep them inside now so they don't get messed up.
Larry, what do you do for the?
I just absorb everybody else's energy. You know, I absorb everybody else's energy, man. You know, my mother, she'll send me because they really into like Christmas heavy. You know, I probably ain't been to Christmas until I was like 19. So
right.
It's been a while since I've really been into Christmas, but I respect Christmas time though. So don't get it like, you know, I ain't got no youngin. My young's grown. He grown. So, you know, I get to watch the kids and this time for them and people, just people in general. Like this is the time of year people actually act civil. You know, you'll feel crazy acting crazy on like around this time of season. So I love the fact that people can act kind of like civil, you know. So that's what I look forward to in the late December now. And then obviously for the kids, what they look forward to, you know, a lot of kids and you know how I go, man. I love that part. People actually be nice around this time, you know. And as soon as the new year comes, they'll be back to being who they are.
Right. No, that's the truth. What is it that puts you in the Christmas spirit? Like once you see this or you hear this, you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel Christmas now. Like it's putting up the Christmas tree and seeing the lights outside of people's homes. That's when I start to start to feel it. How about you, Michelle? How do you start to get in the spirit? What triggers you?
It's probably usually like I guess really on Thanksgiving, like when you either watching the parade and at the end of the parade is Santa, or a lot of things will play March of the Wooden Soldiers. And then that starts to make me get, okay, you know, it's time to, and that's a very old school, like black and white movie, March of the Wooden Soldiers, but you're like, oh, Christmas is coming.
That made my top 10 last year.
There you
Remember, we
go.
were debating, is it called March of the Wooden Soldiers or Babes in Toyland? Really kind of depends. I grew up with it as March of the Wooden Soldiers, but when you Google it,
Yeah,
see
me too.
Babes in Toyland is the more popular name. I'm not really sure. How about you, Matt? What's what gets you going for the Christmas spirit?
Oh, it's definitely a lot of the lights on the houses, and just as soon as it starts to get cold, really, like, because I don't know where we live, Halloween anymore is t-shirt weather. So you start feeling that nip in the air, and you got to start throwing on a couple layers, and it's like, oh man, it's like Christmassy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's always that kind of warm soul feeling that takes you all the way up until New Year's, and then it's just cold, you know, and then
Yes.
it's nothing to look forward to except summer, you know. But definitely the chill in the air, the little bit of frost on the windows in the morning, and just the lights, and you know, everywhere you go, there's just echoes of it. Like, you know, the town that I work in is just, they always play music through the town all the time, and it's just like parking around back and walking around, just hearing that every day coming in is, you know, put you in the spirit for sure.
I thought
Yeah,
you
all that.
I thought you would have said the tips get bigger. That's when I could feel.
I mean, hey, they definitely do, but you know, people are definitely generous. I appreciate it.
And back to Michelle with the parade. You know, I worked that parade for a few years in the '90s, putting the floats together, the Macy's Day Parade.
Oh, sure.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Oh wow.
I did that like 3 years in a row. Yeah, in the mid '90s, you know, it was $300 for a day's worth of work. That was a lot of money to me back then.
Yeah.
So I did it. It was sick. It was 16 hours, but
How'd you get that gig?
So my friend Craig, who was the best man at my wedding, so he was the one that was giving the best man speech with the paper that was shaking because he was so nervous.
Yeah.
So he his uncle worked for Macy's. So his uncle was in charge of getting the guys to put all the floats together. He knew how every float needed to open up and get put together and then closed back down and get shipped away. He knew it like top of his head. Every single float. So it would be like 10 guys per float, and he had like 50 guys, something like that. So we would do like 5 floats at the same time. I'd be in one group, Craig might be in another group, or he's in my group or whatever. So it would be groups of 10 per, and there were like, oh my gosh, you'd be surprised how many floats there are.
I can't even imagine.
There's like 70 floats.
That's a lot of work, though.
And the thing is, they're coming from Hoboken, New Jersey, so they're all they're like Transformers. So they're kind of like in a ball, like tight and tied in string, and they get hooked up to Michigan, sends down a brand new factory of vehicles, American made. So it would be like Chevy Tahoes or Chevy Suburbans or something like that. They would bring in, you know, like 70 or 80 of them. They would drive down, be brand new. You check the mileage. They would say like 6 miles per vehicle. And they would hook them up, and then you would get a police escort, drive from Hoboken into Manhattan. And then as they're still hooked on, because those are the vehicles that will pull the float, you don't really see it so much on TV because you're focused on the float and you're focused on the big balloons and the performances and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a big deal. And by the time the last float finishes, like the Santa one, the first one has come back. So you don't really get like a break. It's like,
oh my goodness.
Outside of the drive to Manhattan and the drive from Manhattan back to Hoboken, it's constant. And you're doing it in the cold because it's the middle of the night. You start at 9 p.m. on the New Jersey side, and then you finish like, I don't know, 6 p.m. back on the New Jersey side, because you gotta close them back up and then put them all back into the big warehouse. The warehouse is gigantic. You could put like a bunch of Air Force Ones in there. It was so, it
Whoa.
was yeah.
Bless
I didn't mean to skip you, Larry. Is there something that triggers you for Christmas? Anything in particular?
I'm always get a picture. My mother lives down south, so I always get like she be so hyped for it that she'll send me like, cause she go crazy, so she'll send me like her whole thing that she done, tree, lights. You know, kind of takes me back to my childhood though. You know what I mean? Because I remember that was the biggest thing. You bring out that big box of all the decorations that you had stored in the basement or attic, and then you got to untangle the lights and everything. But then when you start to put it all together, it's like, man, you know, I always remember that. You know, then you put the nut dish with the candy dish. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if y'all had that in your house, but I did growing up.
Oh yeah.
And and then at night, you know, you had to turn the lights, the tree, and everything on. So it was always that good feeling. It's the most coziest time of the year, man. You know, I seen Michelle had a coffee mug with the hot chocolate in it. Yeah, man, just take you in that space right there. You know, that space. So always the lights.
Nostalgia is a feeling.
Yes, sir.
My wife tells me that all the time. Awesome. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I think I'm ready to do this. Are you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. As always, the guest goes first, and the female guest will continue to be the one that goes first, and that's Michelle. So we'll go Michelle, Larry, myself, Matt. We're going to go on the screen. It's going to look like we're going clockwise. So we'll get a crack-a-lackin'. As always, we go from 10 to 1. And before we do number 1, we will mention our honorable mentions. And I'm very curious to see not so much which ones that we pick the same, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot. I want to focus on the differences, because like last year, Michelle had one on her list that I hadn't seen. And as soon as the podcast ended, I went upstairs and I watched it on, I think it was on Peacock. So, and I did the same thing with when we did our Halloween show. Matt and Michelle, you mentioned a couple, and that week I started to watch. I watched Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
And I watched Matt, what was the one? The
Fresh. Did you watch Fresh?
No, I had seen that. The one where the guy that died in that horrible accident in real life. Anton something was his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember which movie he was.
Yeah. It was like a weird story, and it was on New York.
I remember. I still have my list.
I actually think I wrote that down to watch, but I haven't done so yet.
I started to watch it, but
Odd Thomas.
Odd Thomas.
Yeah.
That's it. I started to watch that. I didn't finish it though. Sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry.
So one of these books on this shelf here is the continuation of that movie.
Oh, I never got to the end, but I know Larry and Michelle were familiar with the author and those books, so they might be into that. I don't know.
Dean Koontz.
Yeah, great author, man. Great author. They take me on a journey, man. I remember it's about 60s into this book club, so she's an avid reader. So I'd be like, man, I'm about to get back in my book reading days, you know?
It's a good time. Hey, this is the best time to snuggle up with a book. You know, it's freezing outside. I can't do much. You know, I wait for them sleety days.
Yeah, the three of us, outside of Michelle, we kind of live in the same area. Michelle lives in Toms River, New Jersey, which is a little bit colder than it is right here in northern Delaware. So I'm not going to complain, at least not to you guys. I can make my own. All right. So we're going to start at number 10. Michelle, kick us off with the character, the actor who plays the character, and from what movie makes your number 10 to kick off this list.
Okay, I have the Winter Warlock, voiced by Keenan Wynn from 1970, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Good old Rankin and Bass. I just always have loved the Winter Warlock. He's just funny. Even when he's trying to be mean, he's funny, and also just a fun character, and he goes through a nice little change.
Yeah. That's what was that? Did you say 1970?
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't
That
seen
is
that
such a good movie. I've been talking about that at work all week, trying to see who remembers, Santa Claus is coming to town and Miser Brothers Christmas and like all those old like classic. Like I felt like I was seeing all of those, and then like I've been bringing it up all week, and everybody's like, "What? No, I've never seen it." I'm bringing up photos on my phone, like, "You've seen this?" They're like, "Nope." I'm like,
Wow.
I can't believe it. I'm finally like, and the first one that you mentioned is from one of those movies, and I'm like, finally, it's so refreshing to hear somebody that has seen.
Well, all those old like stop motion animations are like so great.
They're amazing.
Those are the ones that Michelle, Larry, and myself grew up on. I'm very impressed, Matt, that you're the one that's like, come on, guys, you guys got to know about this, because you're only like 30. You just like turned 30, right?
I'll be 30 in a few months. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're still in your 20s.
I'm still on the cusp.
And you've watched these older
for years, though. Like I just thought they were classics, and nobody knows. And
how we grew up, we had to wait once a year to be able to watch these. It wasn't like, it was a Blu-ray that you could just pop in or whatever. It was, stay tuned, CBS this coming Monday, Rudolph.
Yes.
Here. You waited forever. I remember one of the things that I really liked about my birthday was The Wizard of Oz was always played very close to my birthday in March every year. It was the only time I could see it.
Yep.
It was the only time. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Larry.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
A week and a half apart.
Yep. That was like the biggest thing for us, because you only seen them once a year.
Yep.
It's also weird because there's that Freeform channel that does 25 Days of Christmas, and they actually play some of that stuff. Like they'll play Santa Claus is Coming to the Town. So you would think that some of these younger ones would get a chance to see it.
Well, Freeform is just ABC Family. They just renamed themselves.
Oh, really?
It's the same channel.
Yeah, that is true.
I remember the announcement watching ABC Family, and they said, coming in the next year, we're changing to Freeform, but it was still on the same channel. They ran the same programs. So I don't know why they changed it. I guess they weren't showing as many family programs, so they had to change the name or something. But
that happens. That happens. I remember Spike TV is now Paramount.
It gotta change.
All
right, good start, Michelle. Larry, you're number 10.
I'm on the clock. Mine is gonna be off kind of, but I don't care because I like
your list.
At time coming is Edward Scissorhands by Johnny Depp, and we had a big argument about that last year, I believe, because you was like, that's not a Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie because it was around Christmas time, and he cut up the snowmans and stuff. Yeah, it was set in Christmas time. So when I see this movie, I always go back to Christmas time. So Edward Scissorhands, played by Johnny Depp, classic movie in my opinion, because it takes me back to that time stamp when it came out. I don't know when it came out, but I just always get Christmas time vibe.
Was it 90?
It was 1990 when it came out, but I don't know what that, because you said it didn't come out around Christmas time. It came out like in the summer. I think you told me that. I remember that from last year.
Maybe.
It was
I don't remember. That's a whole year ago.
It was highly disputable.
It takes place, I guess, at Christmas time.
So, yeah. That's my argument, Matt. And I got the Gil hit me through the I don't know about Christmas.
So I feel like have some on the list that are, maybe not necessarily the Christmassy of Christmas movies, but around Christmas time,
just some movies, I guess, have become debatable because there's just a hint of Christmas mentioned or whatever in the movie, and people are like, "Oh, Christmas movie."
My honest opinion,
the clear one that I'm talking about is Die Hard.
Die Hard. I knew that was going to come up.
That was on a Christmas party. So Die Hard came out in Christmas time. It was at a Christmas
My honest
party.
opinion is it's just something stupid that people like to argue, and because it was never an issue until like the last 10 or 15
Yeah,
years.
I would say the last 10 or 15 years, but
Yep.
but
None of this was ever an argument, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's make this an argument. Let's
Thank you,
let's
Michelle.
say this is this.
I agree with that.
At the end of the movie, he did because they have snow and they wanted snow, so he ended up carving the ice and made the snow. You know, so that was like, come on.
Yeah, but okay.
What? What you gonna say, Gil?
You when you watch Die Hard, okay, and it's one of the greatest action movies. It's the one that shot,
Bruce Willis on the action star.
Yeah, it made him a super. He went from a bit actor to a superstar with that role.
Yes.
When you're watching that, when those terrorists are taking over that building, and you're seeing Alan Rickman as the ultimate douche, okay, and you're along with Bruce Willis, and he's barefoot and he's running across the broken glass. In the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, now this is a Christmas movie. You were thinking like that.
But I think because hold up, when it was getting like, remember he was knee deep in the action, it was getting crazy, chaotic, and he talked to the cop, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, by the way, Merry Christmas, what was his name? His main character name, of Bruce Willis, John McClane. He said, okay. He said, Merry Christmas, John McClane. It kind of brought it back to, yes, it is Christmas time that all this nut stuff is happening, but it is around Christmas time. So we don't want to forget that part of it, that it is Christmas time. 1, now 2 and 3, do your thing, bro. But 1, yes. And then 3 was kind of funny because it was a lot of snow there too. Remember it is at the airport in 3?
It was a summer blockbuster.
That's the second one is when they're at the airport and the
second one was New York, wasn't it?
What was that? I don't remember the setting, but the third one was the one with Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay, that was the third. Okay, so the third one was Samuel,
which was Jackson. A good one. I thought
that was a good one. I like that one. I think that was the best one in my opinion outside number 1.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with
fan of.
All right, so you got Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, sir.
It's your list. I wouldn't consider that Christmas, but it's your list. So, and you have it at number 10. It's not like you got it at 2 or 3. So.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is because, like, I technically have one down the line that I will tell you is not a Christmas movie, but everyone in the freaking world will tell you it is. But it was not a Christmas movie. It was never made to be a Christmas movie. People made it a Christmas movie. And sometimes that happens. People decide something's a Christmas movie when it's not.
You are right. You are right. What do you consider before I do my pick? The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is that Halloween, Christmas?
Oh man,
it's both.
Both. 100%. It can be both.
Yeah, both.
It kind of can't not be both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it really takes place in two separate genres that are both Halloween and Christmas. So it's like half the movie is about one, half the movie is about the other. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Very sneaky there, Tim Burton.
There we go.
All right, my number 10. I'm gonna admit this is my list, so you might have a problem with it, but I cheated on my number 10 because it's not one character; it's 2 characters. There was no way for me to distinguish one over the other. Their parts are equal, and so I have 2 people.
I have that down my list too. It'll be interesting if this is the same.
Okay, well, my number 10 is Stanley Dumb and Ollie D, played by Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, Babes in Toyland or March of the Wooden Soldiers, 1934. That I could not have them not be on the list. But I can't. I'm not going to put one higher than the other. They were both pretty equal. And if I had to choose, gun to my head, I probably would put Ollie D, Oliver Hardy. He made me laugh all throughout that movie. So did Stanley, but Ollie was hilarious. The part where he pushes Stanley into the water and he thinks he gets this big laugh, and he forgot that he gave him his pocket watch to hold. He's like, Ollie, your watch. Oh my gosh. Classic, classic, classic. So I love March of the Wooden Soldiers. Like Michelle said, it's one of those that gets me in the mood. I used to watch it every year, once a year. And so I have Stanley Dumb and Ollie D, 1934. That is my number 10. Matt, you're number 10.
All right. Number 10 is Jack Frost from the movie Jack Frost, played by Michael Keaton. I mean, I feel like I watch this movie every year around this time. It comes on or I put it on, and it's always a good movie. Like, I like that movie. Just kind of a goofy premise, a guy, a busy man, classic. I'm always on the run. I can't stop. I got no time for anything, humbug. And then, gets turned into a snowman and then has to be literally on the outside looking in for a couple weeks, I think, throughout the movie. And, has to be able to follow people around and see what life is like without him being around, and maybe realize that life is not so bad with his presence not in the life of his wife and kids, so it's a thinker, but it's kind of a fun movie because he's a snowman, and it's not CG. I mean, it's not, it doesn't look terribly bad CGI, for the time that it was in. It looks like a snowman, it's pretty good effects. From what I can say, it's not Marvel, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was like mid-90s, right? So
yeah,
it was
that was a
pretty good.
surprisingly good movie. Like you always, like, the first time you see that, you're always like, oh my god. You're not expecting like what it was,
Yeah, I'm not gonna be moved by this guy turns into a snowman movie, but
right.
Yeah, it's wacky but touching.
Was this the one that Kelly Preston played his wife?
Yes.
Kelly Preston, yeah, I believe so. I never remember her name, but
Kelly Preston, she died a few years ago. She was John Travolta's wife.
Yeah, yep.
I didn't know she died.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it in a festive move.
Yeah, let's go.
Michelle, you're number 9.
So my number 9 is Ginny Granger, played by Mary Steenburgen, from One Magic Christmas, 1985. That was one of the ones I probably said last year that you guys were like, I don't know what this is.
No, I knew it because I told you I saw it in the movies, and my father blurted out in the movies when she's taking a shower, she's singing and she does a spin in her bathtub or her shower, whatever.
Yeah.
And my father goes, "That was stupid." And I'm like, what's the problem? He's like, "That's dangerous." That's what I remember about that.
That's
movie.
really funny. That's what he was concerned with.
Movie, she's like taking a shower, and she does like a little spin. He's like, "That was," and a whole movie theater is quiet, and out loud he blurts out, "That was stupid. That was dangerous."
That's awesome.
Looking at me, don't do that. That's a bad example.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's made sure everybody in the theater knew.
Yep.
That's actually really, really funny. You're like never gonna forget that.
Never.
I don't remember the movie. I mean, it was kind of like It's a Wonderful Life. Like she kind of goes, like I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a combo of the tropes of It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Carol.
Right. But I don't remember it. I just remember her and that part, and the old school Christmas lights where the lights were bigger.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I remember. I don't remember anything about that movie. All right. And that was on your list last year.
Yep.
What?
I remember that. All right, Larry. You're number 9.
Number 9 is it's a goofy movie, man.
Character. Give me the character.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh,
When he
my
first started,
goodness.
I thought he was actually saying a goofy movie.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that a Christmas movie?
Like, he's a goofy guy, so he's a goofy character. Ernest is a
Dude,
goofy
I love
dude.
Ernest, man. He
So I love
chucked out a
Ernest, man,
series
so-
of movies. They were great.
Yeah, he had a series of he's a goofball, man. So Ernest Saves Christmas, man. That's
You know
classic.
what's funny is you probably know this by now, but I don't like little boy humor. So there's a lot of stuff that people love that I just think are the most awful things ever made. But the Ernest doesn't bother me.
Oh, Ernest didn't bother you?
He does not bother me. I find Ernest funny.
Yeah, I like Ernest. So
Yeah.
Ernest Saves Christmas, man, by Ernest Worrell. You know Ernest Worrell. I think that's how I spell his name. Yeah, pronounce his name.
It used to be commercials of him playing that character before he started doing the movies.
Did it?
Mhm.
And it was like a movie came out every year. Of
Yeah.
Ernest.
Yup, it did. Yup.
Always
Yeah, it
talking
was
into
like
the
Ernest
camera.
goes to jail. Ernest,
Yeah. Yup.
was it the Spooky Ernest or something? The Halloween one, and Saves
So was that
Christmas.
Scared Stupid or something like that?
Yeah, Scared
Yep.
Stupid. There was Ernest Goes to Camp. There, I
Yeah,
mean,
Ernest
there
was
was
camp. Yup.
there were so many of them.
Oh man, Ernest was a guy back there, man.
He was.
Ernest was a guy.
Always say he had that catchphrase. You know what I mean, Vern? You know what I mean, Vern?
It's like, oh my god, it kind of looked like Mike Rowe.
I have not seen that one in a while. I might have to check. I might have to find out who's streaming that because
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I probably haven't seen it in like
Oh,
20 years.
it's been like over 30 years.
yeah, it's been
I'm
a while,
assuming that
man.
movie came out. What year did that movie come out?
19. What up? Ernest came in 19. It was 1990. What up? I'm sorry, 1988.
Oh wow, it's older than I thought
So
it
Yeah.
was.
that's like 35, 36.
Yeah, 88. Yeah, that's around that time. Yup. The 80s. Golden years.
The 80s, man. They were fun.
They were fun.
Sorry,
Man,
Matt.
they were fun.
Sorry you
Poor
weren't
Matt.
that one.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm
Well,
sorry.
you know, I got.
Mr. Golden Era, Matt.
Oh, so
Pretty big
you
kid
know,
in the 80s.
more grew up in the 2000s.
We were already adults.
Yeah, we
Oh
feel
my
sorry for
goodness.
Matt.
Yikes. So I guess I'm next, huh? All
Yes,
right,
sir.
number 9. So this is the only one on my list that is a supporting actor. Not the lead or one of the leads like in the last one. The two were the lead. This is clearly a supporting actor, not a real big part, but I loved this character. One of the reasons why I love this movie is this character. Character's name is Clarence, played by Henry Travelers from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, Clarence. Yeah,
Clarence was the angel.
he was an angel.
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched that the
Yeah.
other day too, Gil. I literally watched that the other day. My lady was like, "You liar? You watched it?" I said, "Yeah, it's a classic.
Every year.
Every year it's a classic."
Watch it every year, and I prefer to watch it in black and white.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Like me too. It's a great movie, man.
Oh my God.
It's a great movie, man.
Great is underselling it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
underselling it. It's phenomenal. What it is to a holiday movie
Yes.
is what Shawshank is to a prison movie.
Yeah.
Just
Mm.
you.
Yeah.
But now, do you want to know the truth?
It wasn't my. Don't tell me it wasn't made to be a Christmas movie.
It's never meant to be a Christmas movie. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Wow.
Well,
And the people made it a Christmas
Mm.
movie. It was never ever made to be a Christmas movie. I think it came out in April of 1946,
Wow. That's what I was thinking about.
and it actually kind of bombed. And then they played it on something like the following year, like when TV started to be big in the early 50s. I think that's when it became a Christmas thing.
Wow, that's crazy. And it bombed.
Yeah, it didn't do well in the theater box office at all.
Wow.
that happens sometimes. I just mentioned Shawshank. Shawshank bombed in the
Did
theater.
it?
And that's an amazing movie.
Classic movie.
Well, part of the problem was Shawshank came out shortly after Forrest Gump, and everybody
oh my
loved
God.
Forrest Gump.
Wasn't that one of the biggest grossing movies of all time?
At the time,
Forrest Gump?
and
Yeah.
surpassed since
Great movie, too.
Titanic set the bar after that. But yeah, so the whole movie's really not Christmas until like the very end, really.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why like the things with something takes place at a time isn't really an argument, because a movie could start and end at a certain time, but it's not about that. Or, I mean, and you don't have this argument with Halloween things. There are plenty of things I've seen that take place around October 31st, but it's not considered a Halloween movie. So I just think it's a weird thing that people have started to do in the past, like we said, 10 or 15 years.
Like when Larry mentioned Edward Scissorhands, my initial thought of Edward Scissorhands is a Halloween more than Christmas. That's why I was asking about The Nightmare Before Christmas, because my initial thing is to think of it as a Halloween. I mean, they even have a Halloween song in it. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. So my initial thought is that's a Halloween movie.
Well, it also has Kidnap the Santa Claus.
I missed what you said.
It also has the Kidnap the Santa Claus song.
Oh, yes, it does. You're right. That goes for both. I guess Edward Scissorhands goes for both too.
I don't know. Edward Scissorhands, I would never even have honestly associated with either holiday. It's just like one of those Tim Burton movies, like. So that's funny to me, because I've noticed that like the last year or two that people have been talking about Edward Scissorhands as a holiday movie all of a sudden, where I don't think it was ever talked about that way before.
Well, I don't think it was really intended that. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it was around that time, but just intended as a weird movie.
A weird movie, yeah. Tim Burton movie, yeah. I never affiliated with a horror movie though, or a Halloween movie. It was always just.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't really affiliate it either way, but like, I don't really affiliate Beetlejuice as Halloween, and I think a lot of people do.
Do
they? That's true. By the way, I just finished watching that Beetlejuice.
You ain't like it?
No.
They have some good theme songs.
I understand like the nostalgia of bringing people and characters back and stuff like that, but I thought it was lame. I'll be honest, I didn't even really love the first one. I saw the first one in the movies and I was like, it's okay.
I like Beetlejuice, man. I like Beetlejuice.
I like it because I like kind of the world that Tim Burton creates. Not that the movie in of itself is amazing, because it's not, but it's like the aesthetic of it. I like it. I like watching it, if that makes sense.
Well, and that's
the second one I thought had 5-6 different storylines going at the same time and was going too fast, and then kind of modernized.
They could have dropped a couple things to make and focused it more.
Yeah.
But I think they're making a third one, and I think that's part of the issue. And I also think they maybe shot it at the same time. That's
it's coming out next year, so it's.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about it actually being released yet, but that was like my theory.
And it'll be Beetlejuice is what they called it. So,
but like you also bring up a good point with Tim Burton. Like, to be a Tim Burton fan, it requires you to go, this, and this are great. This, and this have really excellent things to them. But you're going to have, it's almost like every other movie you're going to hate also at the same time.
Exactly.
He kind of goes in like these patterns, the dark, the Batman-y, this Edward Scissorhands, and then you get the Big Fish. You get
the Big Fish was great.
Big Fish is amazing, yeah. Pee Wee Herman, yeah.
Pee Wee Herman's great too.
I didn't care for Big Top Pee Wee too much, but
I don't think he did the second one.
Sure, I loved.
Yeah, Big Adventure's a classic.
I loved it.
I don't think he did the second one. He only did the first one.
He didn't do the second
one.
I'm almost positive he didn't do the second one.
I'd have to look that up.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure was hilarious, man. That's a funny movie.
Yeah.
So
like real funny. Especially watching now, it's really funny. Look at how retarded Pee Wee was.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, now that you say that, I'm like, oh, that's something I might want to have my nephew watch.
This is hilarious.
It's I was watching Pee Wee's Playhouse in the late '80s. My father was like, "Why are you watching that?" Because it's funny. What do you mean why?
Well, we look forward to it. It came every Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, it was on every Saturday.
Sure.
Lawrence Fishburne as the cowboy. Lawrence Fishburne was the
cowboy. Wow, I did not know. I didn't
That's
even
him.
realize that.
Go
No.
back.
Oh,
Go back and
wow.
watch it.
I gotta go back and watch
Credits.
it.
In the credits, it says Larry Fishburne.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. Good times. Good times. All right. I just did mine, right?
Yes.
Matt, you're number 9.
Number 9 is Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Jim Carrey in A Christmas Carol. And Jim Carrey plays multiple characters throughout this movie.
Yep.
So I'll just say Jim Carrey. But I mean, he plays Ebenezer Scrooge as the main character throughout the film, but also the Ghost of Christmas Future, I think, with he's like the light in the candle or something. It's just the way that his face is like that smile that's just flickering in the candle as he's talking to him is funny. And just the kind of trippy thing it does to take him through the past and the horrors of like Christmas, past and, all this is just was so cool. And then of course it has all the Jim Carrey, aesthetics and just everything to it. And it's just a fun movie and it's all Christmassy and it's just a good modern twist on an old, was it a Dickens novel, I think, was Christmas Carol. So yeah, it's good. It's fun. I like it.
There's a lot of good versions of A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge, Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't even think about the
Scrooge Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray version. I didn't even think about that.
Put it as an honorable mention, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's an amazing pick.
But what I'm very curious to hear is Michelle's opinion on that pick. Michelle?
You don't want me to talk.
Listen, it's on his list. It doesn't have to be on yours.
I can tell you the first two problems for me with that one. I do not like that animation.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Polar Express, that animation is awful.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's way too computerized. It doesn't look like a real cartoon. And I actually feel sorry for some of the kids these days because I see some of the stuff my nephew watches, and I'm like, that is not a cartoon. That is some awful computer animated thing that doesn't look like anything. Mm-hmm. It's just awful. Yeah. Like cartoons shouldn't look like that. And then Jim Carrey would be the second problem with that.
I like
for me personally,
Michelle is not the biggest Jim Carrey
at all.
Oh, man.
So I got Ebenezer. I got a feeling. It's just a feeling. I got a feeling Jim Carrey's version of The Grinch won't make her list. That's
no.
Wow, that's funny because I figured it'd be on everyone's list.
I like that less than this one.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I've only seen this movie like 3-4 times, but I've enjoyed it every time I've watched it. I like that one. It's good.
Remember earlier when I talked about little boy humor and how I don't like it? Jim Carrey is the epitome of that for me.
I completely. So you're not a big Will Ferrell fan?
No, I like him better than Jim Carrey, but I don't like a lot of his stuff.
I mean, that is okay because I'm not a big fan of a lot of his stuff either.
Yeah.
Step Brothers.
I mean, but there are things like I'll give credit. Like, there's a movie called The Majestic that Jim Carrey is in.
Yes. Oh my
freaking
God,
amazing!
I love that movie.
Like, I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe that's Jim Carrey. You know. So I will give people credit like that. I generally don't like, when they deserve it. But like,
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is another one that was pretty good.
So that's why I think he could be like really amazing when he wants to be.
That was a good one.
But
what was the one he did with Edwin McGregor?
Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Philip Morris. I love you, Philip Morris.
Yeah, my wife.
Oh my God, I forgot about that movie.
That was definitely outside the box for him, but he was still kind of like Jim Carrey in it. Though.
Yeah.
Did you like him as the comedian? Andy
Kaufman.
I will say,
Man on the Moon.
That was good.
You like that one?
He kind of. What's the word that I want there?
Embodied?
Yeah, he embodied that really well.
Okay.
And because Andy Kaufman was crazy.
He was.
Yeah.
He was really well crazy.
He was a nut
He
wrestling.
definitely was a nut. Yeah, he was a nut. Like a nut.
100%.
Oh yeah.
So it's
it's Jim Carrey though, so
play
it
it.
works.
Yeah, Jim. I think
He
I
was
said
definitely the right person for that part. Like sometimes there's like people who could like
Mhm.
this was the only person who could play that, and
Yeah.
like he fell into that really well for that.
Yes, I agree, and I think I like Jim Carrey definitely more than Michelle does, but he does annoy me. He reminds me, and I think I said this. I might have said this last year. He reminds me of Robin Williams, where he's always performing. Like when he's in an interview, he can't just be like straight, like the straight man. He's always got to do an impression or do a voice or something like that, and it's like, stop. You're giving me a headache, and he does it. Robin Williams used to do it. I just want to. If that's a role, that's a part, or is that you? Are you just you in a movie? I always kind of wondered that with.
Well,
him.
I mean that's part of the reason I don't like a lot of things that he's done either, because especially if you're playing something that's something, I want to see you act. I don't want to see Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're bringing Jim Carrey to that role and it's something specific, it's not supposed to be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
Absolutely. And you're an actor. You're supposed to be portraying someone else.
Right.
Right.
Like if he had done that with Man on the Moon, it would have been awful.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you don't want Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You want to see his range, and I get it. All right, Michelle, you are at number 8. Let's get number 8 started.
So my number 8, I have Jack Skellington, which is voiced by Danny Elfman. It's from 1993, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Jack Skellington's just a great character. I love the whole innocence of he wants to know what Christmas is, because all he knows is Halloween, and how everything kind of gets messed up, but he doesn't do it on purpose. It's kind of all innocent.
Absolutely.
And I like the way they have everything set up, with all the different towns for the holidays, and it's just pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Good choice.
You when I asked before, that movie didn't make your Halloween top 10 last year, right?
I don't know, probably not.
So you see it more of as a Christmas movie than you would.
I mean, I definitely think it's both, but since we were going by characters, I just felt like what him wanting to know about Christmas made it really good choice for a Christmas character.
Are you surprised they've never made a part 2 to that movie? Because that character is so popular. You see Jack. I mean, there are kids that are under the age of 10 that have seen this movie, and they know of the character and stuff like that. I'm really surprised that he didn't make a part 2, because
I think
on that.
I think they should forever and indefinitely leave it alone. Never touch it. Never make a sequel. Don't even ever pitch an idea to ever even have another one, because
I don't think he would to that.
All it would do is Beetlejuice.
Yes.
That and make it almost lessen the value of the first one if they make a terrible sequel.
If I'm honest, I don't think it became what it is until at least 10 years after it was out. Because when it first came out in 93, I saw it and I loved it, but there was not you couldn't get the merchandise you can get these days. And it's been like that for a while. But I definitely think it was 10 years. Speaking of merchandise,
Yeah.
It's
all
it's right where you work, Matt. The clock outside of your building. They had face on the clock.
Jack and they had Jack and Zero all over the mall. Yeah, yep.
That's cool.
I mean, it's funny because it is such a. I hate when people say iconic over everything, but it's just that really is. because it's an icon, it's a symbol. It's like you see that face, you know that's Jack. You know what movie that's from. You know the character. You know the songs that pop in your head. Like it's just that is such a staple. Yeah.
And I guess too, maybe like it becoming like with all the products and everything more like 10 years after kind of makes sense because 93 and it is Disney. It is owned by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that way it's been Disney-fied, but not Disney-fied like other stuff, or they haven't ruined it, like because Disney owns a big part of the Muppets, and they do not do the Muppets justice whatsoever. So
Well,
I guess it got lucky, but Tim Burton started out being an animator for Disney, and I think that they have always kept like a special relationship with him, and therefore nothing of his is getting screwed over.
Right.
I've been able to watch a lot of older Muppet stuff because of Disney Plus, so I got to give them credit on that because I've gone a big gap without watching Muppet specials, and now I get to watch them.
I give them only half credit because they have episodes of the Muppet Show that they don't have on there because they've deemed that they're not appropriate, and I don't even think that should be like their choice. You can put it up there and you could put a thing saying, this one from when it was made might be different now, but you should make it available.
I'm not surprised that they do that because that's what, like my son was big into watching Dumbo for a while. So at the very beginning, there would be a message saying, we do not agree with the depiction of the birds and stuff like that, how they were acting. And, it's 10 seconds, you read it, and then the movie starts. I'm surprised that they actually decide for other people.
Well, I also don't know 100% because I got to find out which person it is. But supposedly there's also an episode that they've kept off because, whoever the guest is on the Muppet Show, there's somebody who I think later on got convicted of some kind of child-related offense. And so they have that episode off. But again, not that I'm for anything like that, but like if we did that to anything that somebody has gotten like a child offense or anything for, there'd be a whole lot of stuff nobody'd ever see.
Well, didn't that happen to this latest Beetlejuice movie, The Father?
Yes, he got in trouble for something, I don't know how many years ago, but yes.
Yeah, he got in trouble for something.
I think, it was some kind of the kid. No, it was. I thought it was something to do with minors or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he had like pictures or like what it was, but it was something weird like that.
Well, that's why the character got killed off like that.
Right. They did a good job with getting rid of like kind of having the character, but not having the character.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Well,
yeah,
I'm sure they had to give him something to use his face, basically, in the movie, because I mean, it was clearly him.
Yeah. And then the rest of the movie, he's
shark.
Shark.
Yeah.
Taking that bite, but
but especially too, like if you went back to everything, like from the beginning of movies. So if we watch some of our old movies, like I'm sure there's people who've done some crazy crap back in the day, and that would be like, oh, now we can't watch March of the Wooden Soldiers anymore. Like that's just, I think that's a little bit extreme. I'm in no way condoning any of that stuff. I'm just saying, like, if we did that, then we would have nothing because everybody's done something bad.
Well, I mean, you watch movies for the movie and the characters that are created by people in a writer's room, not
exactly
not the actors' personal lives. Like I don't watch a movie because I like the actor in their personal life. I've never met them. I don't know them. I don't care. I don't care to meet them. I like the character that they're pretending to be based on someone else's script. You know what I mean? It's like, so to not watch a show because somebody did something is crazy to me because it has nothing to do with the fictional universe that somebody created and thousands of people worked hard, countless hours to make this production. It's like, I'm not going to watch that show because Alec Baldwin, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I mean, there's thousands of people and countless hours of hard work involved in this project. So maybe give it a shot,
And that's the same difference. Like if you chose it because of a writer or a director, it's just like you're saying, it's so many people work on something that.
Well, you could do the same thing with music. Look at all these musicians that are caught up in doing stuff they shouldn't have done. But you know, I'm not trying to you know, bring them home and do a personal concert with my kids or anything like that. I just listen to the music.
I listen to music, man. You know,
it's a catchy tune, and I don't really care about the person. I like the song.
Exactly.
100%. 100%. All right, who's next? Larry, you?
Yeah, my number 8 spot. I got Kevin from Home Alone.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Played by
good.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Yeah. You know, Joe Pesci's in that movie. Who's the tall comedian that was in there? His partner.
Stern.
Stern, yeah.
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. Yup. Classic movie. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. I ain't like 3, but I like 1 and 2.
I like 1 and 2 too because they got Macaulay.
Yep.
And they got the mom, and they got Pesci and Stern.
Yep.
That's one of those movies where you could, if you wanted, you could have more than one character from that movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pesci and Stern were
classic, man.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
You can't have him defending his house without the two robbers.
Yeah. They made the movie, man. They funny. They made the movie. Like, I know Kevin made the movie, but they made the movie.
Yes.
Because they were hilarious, man.
You know what's funny is I didn't put it on my list, but I just quickly added it to my honorable mentions. But in the second one, I love Tim Curry's character so much. It's not even funny. Like I literally immediately, that was one of the first things I thought of with this list. And I'm like, that's kind of like weird though.
Well, you're a big Tim Curry fan.
Yes, and that was one of the reasons like that I just loved him more and more because of that.
Was Tim Curry the dude, the one in the hotel?
Yeah, the concierge.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah, Rob Schneider's boss.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's right.
Rob Schneider wasn't there, was he?
Was. Yes, he was. That's a good one.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, so me, right? Number 8?
Sure.
Okay. So I got to be specific here. My number 8 is Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Alistair Sim from A Christmas Carol, 1951. Okay, so it's not the oldest Christmas Carol, but it's one of the older, and it's one of the more popular, and it's the one.
That's one in color, right?
What's that?
That's one in color, right? Is that the one in color?
No.
Or is it white?
I think it is in color, or it might be one of those that could be color and black and white.
Right.
But
they may have colorized it, but I swear I've always seen it black and white. But
I think I saw it both ways.
Okay.
I think I saw it both ways. It's the one that for when I was a little kid, it was like the only one that I saw. And then as I got older, I've seen other versions, and I like a lot of different versions. But this was the first one that I saw, played by British people. That's for you there, Bill. Okay. You and your Brits. Love the movie. I know that for a personal thing, I know it was my mom's favorite. So she always got excited when this one showed up. So it is the 1951 A Christmas Carol's Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Alistair Sim. All right, you're number 8, Matt.
Aha. My number 8 is another Jack Frost. This one is played by Martin Short in Santa Claus 3. The worst of the Santa Claus movies.
Oh yeah, it was. He was a villain, right? He's a villain.
He was back.
He took over the North Pole and tried to be the new Santa and turn the North Pole into a shopping mall instead of a place that is magical. And I love Martin Short. He's amazing. He's just his His like old man, sassy old time Hollywood humor is just the funniest thing that when he speaks, I'm laughing. I don't know. It's just, and when I think about, Christmas time, a lot of the time, I always think about like obviously the Santa Claus movies, but then Martin Short. Like I'm always like, we gotta watch the Santa Claus with him in it because that one's like it's not the best one, but Martin Short's in it. We gotta watch it. It's so cool how they did like the icy Santa Claus design because he was still Jack Frost, but they kind of integrated it when the magic made him Santa and everything. I just thought it was neat. I just love Martin Short.
I like him as Jiminy Glick.
Jiminy Glick. Yep.
What's really high, and then at the end of the sentence, it's no.
She's like, oh, it's nice to have you here, even though you couldn't
like
make it.
Interspace too. You ever seen that, Gil?
What's that?
Interspace. Remember him in
yes, with Meg Ryan.
Yeah, with Meg
Oh
Ryan.
my gosh, Interspace.
Mhm.
And
Oh my goodness.
husband Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, yup.
Yep. That was really good.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, the Dennis Quaid's on a little ship that's
inside of him. Yup.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my goodness.
That was quite good indeed. All right, Michelle, number 7.
My number 7 is a double. Because I felt like I couldn't choose between the two for the movie, but it's not the same as yours. So mine is Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye playing Wallace and Davis in White Christmas.
White Christmas.
They're really like a perfect duo in this movie. And there's a lot of really great scenes. I love when they do the sister song that the girls do, and they do it real quick and silly. And there's a lot of really great physical comedy too by both of them in it, like when they're doing different things throughout. It's just an excellent movie. It's one of those ones that I feel people should always pass on because it's from 1954, and I feel like some people may not have ever experienced it.
It's fantastic. It is a great movie.
Really is.
You have to ask Gil how you feel about Bing Crosby because he asked you how you felt about.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna be like,
saying you gotta. It's the same question, man. You gotta pose it back to him. He got personal feelings about Bing.
I've said this before. I can't hear Bing Crosby or see him without imagining him beating the crap out of his kids.
Yeah, being a bad dad.
Sorry, I apologize, but I saw that interview with Barbara Walters back in the day, and he was stone faced, and him talking about whipping his kids and being completely emotionless as he was saying it. I'm like, wow, this dude is a stone cold killer.
Yeah, no, that's how those. It's unfortunate, but that's how a lot of them were in those days.
Yeah, Sinatra's probably the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised with Sinatra?
Not at all, man. Dude. Yeah, went home, smacked his woman around every night, probably.
Yeah. That don't surprise. Sean Connery doesn't surprise me.
I don't know about Sean Connery. Sean Connery?
Sean Connery said on a Barbara Walters special that he thinks that there are times a man should hit a woman. There are times. He said that. Yes, he did. You can look it up on YouTube. Sean Connery being interviewed by Barbara Walters. He said, yes, there are times a man should hit a woman. He said that. Yes. And she asked him to give an example, and he did.
That's what's like bad but about old Hollywood, because like there's a lot of crazy shit like that. But it's like old Hollywood also has such a wonderful like look and aesthetic, and it's all this stuff. But you're like, oh my god, like if you were to delve into it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that really bothers me about today, like today's youth, I'm gonna say, is when you ask them about something that happened in the past, and their response is, oh well, that was before I was born.
Yeah.
I'm only 15 or I'm only 25 or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
that was before I was born. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you can't look. I wasn't around when George Washington, was president.
You're right
or
about
Abraham
that.
Lincoln, or Frank Sinatra, or Bing Crosby and all that, but I know who they are. You know, The Godfather came out before I was born.
Right.
Does that mean I shouldn't know it?
You know what? You just made a great point, because a lot of these movies that we're going to discuss came out before we were even thought of. My mom was even born when some of these movies came out.
Okay?
That's serious. But I still felt probably the same feeling they felt as a child watching it, because it don't matter the timestamp. It's timeless. It's one of the things that's kind of timeless.
Bingo.
You know,
it'll live forever. It'll outlive us, our kids. Yes.
I don't know if it's too like, because even Matt, who's the youngin' here, he might even be too old a little bit in this situation. But like, I don't know if it's that they now growing up have nothing the way we did, in the sense of like, they don't have radio the way we did. They don't have TV the way we did. So they have to search for things. And if you're not exposed to it, you just don't care.
That's a fact.
But I mean, at the same time, I remember being a kid and like, you knew about things that were older than you. You kind of knew things that were important. Like, I don't think that they pay attention anymore. I don't know how to explain it, you know?
You explained it.
No, you're explaining it. You are
clear. You're right.
And it's very strange. But actually, interestingly enough, I went to a concert last weekend, and it was old school Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, which is from like the 40s technically. And they had a young singer that they had come out, and he was talking about how he got into singing stuff like that. And it was Frank Sinatra, but this kid, I mean, if he was 35, that's the oldest he was, and I don't even know if he was that old. And he was talking about when he was little, he was at the store. His mom would always get the Hallmark ornaments every year, so she would put them on layaway, and she was picking them up. And he went over to the kiosk where the CDs were, where you used to be able to press the buttons and hear music, like a sample of the CD. So I was laughing. I'm like, oh, he was little when that was the case. But he was saying he hit a couple, and then there was a Frank Sinatra one, and he kept hitting it. And then he told his grandmother that he wanted it, and she kind of laughed at him. And then when they caught up with the mother, she laughed too. But then he said Santa brought it to him that year, and that kind of was like ever since. And so that was interesting to me. But again, he's still young, but old enough to have kind of experienced it in a way that the kids these days can't find stuff like that.
Right. Well, one of the things that I like about Matt is even though he's young, he's kind of got that old soul.
Yeah.
So he enjoys the movies and TV shows of yesteryear, the 80s and things in the 70s that I saw when they came out.
Yeah.
You know, came out 15, 20, 25 years before he was born. And he knows it as well, if not better than how I know. So
now, Matt, do you have like older siblings, or did your parents show you a lot of stuff, or you just found it yourself?
I mean, I definitely had older siblings, and it was also like we had one TV in the living room until I was 18. So it was just whatever my parents had on is what we watched, and they were watching reruns of the shows they watched growing up, you know? So it was like, I pretty much grew up 2-3 decades behind. So like, I mean, I mention stuff at work all the time, and my coworker has no idea what I'm talking about. And I'm like, how do you not know this? I watch this every day growing up. And he's like, because I wasn't born in the Great Depression. And I'm like, well, it's like all the stuff I grew up watching was just everything my parents liked watching in their youth, I guess. And it was just a lot of TV land, you know, it was a lot of that.
I agree.
So, you know, the movies that would come on were older movies, you know, and it's just kind of how it works. So I kind of grew kind of fond of those things, and then also gives me a disdain a little bit for more modern things, where I'm just like, I can't stand that. It's just too, you know. I just miss how things were made, even though I'm 29, you know.
Right. I agree with you, Matt. Like certain things, I'm like, if it's done well, cool. When there's some stuff is like overkill, like for instance, when I watched Star Wars and they redid Star Wars, right? They should let that die. Like what they did was just a dishonest thing to a great movies that we came up under, because they killed off all the characters. The plot was so fast that you killed off the characters. You made it dumb, like like the villain, like Darth Vader, just was Darth Vader, right? And this knockoff version of him, which is his nephew or great grandson, wherever he was, it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right, you know.
And they just kept going and making the nemesis just weaker and weaker.
Yes.
And like, they should have ended the Skywalkers like in the 70s, honestly, and then started making the Mandalorian and giving me more of that. Just give me more of that. That's all I want.
Agree. When they went
I haven't watched that yet because I'm very much a Star Wars purist, but I hear a lot of people like really talk well about Mandalorian.
That show is what Star Wars should be.
Yeah,
that show is Star Wars without the hierarchy of the Jedi. Yeah. It's just pure. It's amazing.
Okay.
Excellent. It is so good. Of all the Star Wars, the newer stuff like the shows and things like that, I think Mandalorian just poops on all of them.
Absolutely.
And I would go as far as to say you pick like if you do like the original 3 Star Wars movies in whatever order you have them in your head, Mandalorian is right after that.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
So it's the original. I'm not talking like timeline. I'm talking about like quality.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually timeline. It's shortly after. It's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. Because you got to remember, it was just a few years after Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit and went to go find his armor. So it wasn't too much after that. Right. 20 years maybe, if that.
Right.
Okay.
So it pretty much picks up right there.
Spoiler, Boba Fett lives. He did not die in Return of the Jedi like we thought.
I mean, the whole series Boba Fett.
Sorry.
Yeah. That series was not as good as Mandalorian. No. As a matter of fact, and I think I brought this up with you one time, Matt, the best 2 episodes of the what was it? The Book of Boba Fett, the House of
the Book of Boba Fett. Yep.
The best 2 episodes were the episodes where he wasn't in it. It was the Mandalorian. Those are the best 2 episodes.
The best episodes of that show were him. When he was. I don't want to ruin it for Michelle, but when he, goes and visits the lady that takes care of Grogu to get his new thing, that was the best part of the Book of Boba Fett. And I, honestly, getting to see the original clone from, the prequels that came out, when I was growing up.
Wars guy.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Obi-Wan was cool too, but
Obi-Wan was good, but it was short. It was only like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So I liked that because any longer and it would have been, I feel like, too much. They showed just enough, between Obi-Wan and Anakin to rebuild that story and then have that meet up. And then it was a good taste. It was a good confrontation because they're always meeting and leaving, all the way up until, the original movies where he takes that swing and he disappears into the robes and, as Ben Kenobi and, just they're always having those little so if it was longer, it wouldn't feel like they're rushed meetings that they're always having throughout the years. And I thought it was great. The fights and finally some show of force from Ewan McGregor, which was really cool. I mean, his portrayal of Obi-Wan anyway.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sorry, Michelle. I know we talk with Chris.
That's okay. Like I said, I love Star Wars, but I'm very much the Star Wars purist. Like basically the first 3, and that's it.
Watch the Mandalorian then, because timeline wise, it's right after Return of the Jedi. It's a good show.
Yeah, you would love it. It's amazing.
Oh, God.
Are you next?
My 7th pick is the Nutcracker, but they did a reversion of it 2018. It's called Nutcracker and the Four Realms, right? And it's
Claire
Stormbaum. She played Mackenzie Foy played Clara Stormbaum. If you know, that's the main character that was going against Rat King, and that was the interest of the Nutcracker. But that's a classic, man. That's a classic. But I like how they remade it. So you gotta see the 2018 version. You haven't seen it.
That's cool. I haven't heard of it actually. That
Nutcracker
2018 one.
realms. So
What's it on? Is it on like Disney Plus?
yeah, I think it was on. It should be on Disney Plus. It might be on Netflix too, but I know it's on. It might be on Disney Plus though.
Is it just called the Nutcracker?
In the Four Realms. In the Four Realms.
Oh, Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
Yeah, that's the newest version. It's 2018. It came out 2018. And it's a twist on what we grew up on. In like the 1990 animated version was the one outside that I liked. The animated version of it. Then they came back another time, and it had to be, I want to say, late 90s. They came out with a version of it that was cool, but that was sticking to like the original Nutcracker.
I thought when you said Nutcracker, I thought you were gonna pick like the Macaulay Culkin one.
Nah, man, it was a Nutcracker.
There was a Macaulay Culkin Nutcracker.
Yeah,
it must have been
I
corny.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
in like the mid '90s. Yeah,
Was it good?
I didn't see it,
Oh,
so I don't know. But I thought when you said Nutcracker, that's what you were gonna say.
nah.
Since you
That's
mentioned.
a good movie. I like Nutcracker, man. I know you had a Nutcracker growing up. I know you got a Nutcracker during Christmas time, didn't you, man?
Oh dear God.
I personally, in my mother's place,
Did you look it up?
no.
Oh man,
It's
Oh,
Macaulay
wow.
Culkin
hey,
in a pink
yeah.
doily. I don't know
Oh
what
man, I
that
don't
is.
know what would have been good.
I told you. Would you think I was making it up? I told you.
I feel like we all need to watch that now.
Apparently it's on Hulu and Prime Video. It's on
Oh,
Plex for
man.
free and Disney Plus. It's on Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus.
Here we go. Good.
Yeah, dang.
I'll say this. I'll start to check it out. If it's junk, I will. What's the city in Texas with the good tacos? El Paso. I will.
I will El Paso.
Oh, asshole. I like the one, Gil. It's a good one.
Thank you. All right, my number 7. I have a feeling we've all seen it. We've all heard of it. It is Buddy the Elf. Will Ferrell's Elf 2000.
Oh, Buddy Elf, yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Elf. Oh, man.
I think everybody's heard it, seen it more than once, more than twice. It's funny to hear now, over 21 years ago now, that Will Ferrell and Jon Favreau were not seeing eye to eye during the production of this.
Well, they
movie.
did a great job.
Yeah, they pulled it off.
They pulled it off.
They pulled it off, and he, I guess there were talks about doing a sequel a couple of years later, and Will Ferrell said, "No, I'm not tainting the character. I'm not doing it. You want to do it? You get another Buddy the Elf. It won't be me." So.
Oh wow, you can't recast Buddy the Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, they can recast it if you think it's going to make money. They could always make a sequel, a prequel, an animated version. I mean, I just started watching the animated version of The Watchmen on Max.
Oh, you seen it?
Yeah.
You like it?
Pretty good.
It's decent, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's a Snyder version that's like, 3.5 hours long of The Watchmen. So I'm going to watch that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
You can always reimagine a classic and turn it into the way you want if you think it's going to make money. I'm sure there's a Favreau cut out there that's going to make Elf 3.5 hours long. I'm sure there's a way to make money off of that.
Oh, absolutely.
When that first came out, I really, really didn't like it, like at all. It took
Lots
me
of people hated that movie.
I really did not like it. I like it a lot more now. I think it was one of those things I needed to like see a couple times or whatever. But I also think part of the reason I don't like it is that Jon Favreau made a big deal to talk about how this was because he loved like the Rankin and Bass stuff, the stop motion things and all those specials, and that this was supposed to be his big like homage to that. And it absolutely is not, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with anything like that. So I don't know why you would go out of your way to say that. And then so like what I was expecting when I saw it and what I got, I was like, well, this is trash. But But now
Well,
I can definitely respect it on a different level than originally.
I like Jon Favreau. So Jon Favreau is the one behind the Mandalorian, by the way.
Okay.
He's actually quite good as like a director and stuff.
Yeah,
He's done a couple of things that have been pretty good.
he's done a few things. So he did a couple of the Iron Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I like him. He's pretty good actor, pretty good director, pretty good writer. But like I said, I was just surprised that him and Will Ferrell really weren't eye to eye on a lot of the stuff that was going on. But and product was pretty good. Now I got to say, when that movie came out, I did not go to the movies to see it because there was another movie that was out, and I preferred that one, and that is further up on my list.
Okay.
So I'll get that later.
That came out the same year, huh?
Yes. Same year, and I chose that movie over Elf.
Okay.
Interesting.
I wound up seeing Elf a few months later. Not in the movies though. But I had a choice to see it in the movies, and I chose another movie, which I'll get to a little later. Who's next?
Matt.
Matt. You're number 7.
Number 7. My number 7 character, Buddy Hall, played by Danny DeVito in Deck the Halls 2006.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
That was pretty funny.
That man played the funniest, most unintentionally intrusive neighbor that you could have, being the nicest guy ever and just annoying the crap out of Matthew Broderick's character. I feel like the scene where he freaks out in the sleeping bags, if you've seen the movie where they got to strip down into the sleeping bags, and he wakes up and he's naked with Danny DeVito in the sleeping bags in the back of the car, and he's screaming, he can't move, he's zipped up in this thing. Just freaking out. And then they show the picture of him frozen, passed out with the blue lips in the family photo, and then of course the Who's Your Daddy scene when they go to the strip club or whatever, and just hilarious. And that dude, me and my buddy Aaron, we watch Deck the Halls together, if not every year, then every other year, because it's like a classic. We saw it once when we were younger, and we died laughing, and now we die laughing more out of nostalgia.
Oh, okay.
But it's a classic, and Dan DeVito's awesome, and throw him in there on the Christmas list.
Yeah, I like when Danny DeVito's like, he said something like, I want so many lights, Christmas lights on my house. I want to be able to be seen from space.
Space, yo.
Yes. Yup.
That's one a more recent. We're always talking about the classics and the older ones, and they're always going to have a special nostalgia.
Well, that's because I feel like they haven't made that many good newer ones, especially the last
they're all on the Hallmark channel.
Hallmark. Yep.
Yeah.
Hallmark.
Okay, but listen, now here, I like some of the Hallmark ones, but I would not even consider them in the same pantheon as half the stuff we're talking about.
No.
Agreed.
At all.
I don't have a Hallmark movie on my list, and I've watched plenty of them.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't either, Michelle.
I don't think I do at all.
That's what I'm saying. I don't, it just didn't even cross my mind, because that's a whole different, it's kind of like if you're talking about books, it's like Harlequin romance section of it just wouldn't come into play in my my view.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I could only see Candace Cameron and Lacey DeBear so many times.
And Hallmark, I think, is losing its audience, because I'm someone who would actually tape the new ones every year and check them out. There'd be ones I don't like, there'd be ones I love, whatever. So this year, I literally haven't watched one. Last year, I taped a few and wound up only watching half of what I taped, because they're overkilling it now. They're making 50 to 80 new ones every year. It's too much.
Yeah.
and it's the same story with a little bit of a different, and now I'm getting sick of it. Like,
It's the same actors.
Yeah, that too,
You know what? The one that I hate is it's the city lawyer that goes to the country because he met a girl and he's got to like milk a cow and he's got his watch dirty on the farm and he can't hack it with the country folk type of Christmas movie, but he always goes back to the city and then goes back to the country because he loves his it's just it's every movie. It's the
and there's
same movie.
There's a lot of them where it'll be like successful businesswoman and like the small town guy, and it's like,
Yeah,
like
the same movie, gender swap it and do it again. It's the same movie.
Ben Stiller just did one. I just watched one with Ben Stiller that just came out.
Is that the Nutcrackers?
Really? Yes.
I haven't seen that. Actually looks like it might be good though. It wasn't.
It's the same thing. He's from Chicago. He drives to like the country in his yellow Porsche.
Oh, of course.
And his sister died, and
like I figured it was going to end up that he's going to keep the kids or whatever based on the preview, but like I didn't think it was like a romance one or anything.
It's not really romance, but
okay.
Him trying to he's trying to find a family for his 4 nephews that all look like girls because of their long hair, but they're boys. And he keeps the kids wind up always coming up with a reason why they can't go to that particular family. But one of the things that they do together is they do ballet, and they created their own version of the Nutcracker with their own storyline. So that's what that's why it's called that. And and it's the same thing. Ben Stiller wants to go back to the city. He has an opportunity to go back to the city, but then
some big business thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He stays.
I mean, and there's some of them that I'm a sucker for, like some of their basic storylines. I like any of the ones where like they're gonna go back in time. I'm just a sucker for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then any of the ones where somebody will say like successful business person, but like they lived in the big city and they had chose like a single life, but they wake up and it was like, oh, they had chosen this other path, and now what's this life like? Like I like those little switchy ones for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've seen those, I've watched those just because of the basic storyline and have been disappointed in several. And then there's like a couple that are really good,
Mr. Destiny with Jim Belushi.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that in forever.
God, yeah.
That's a good one, right?
That was like, wow, pull out a good one there, Gil.
With Michael Caine.
Oh my God, I forgot he was in that.
Michael Caine's the one that he allows him to have like that wish, what was it? If he hit the baseball or something like that. If only I hit that baseball. Would have like changed. That was Mr.
Yeah.
Jim Belushi was in Perryville like a month and a half ago.
What's that?
So Jim Belushi was in Perryville like a month and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, he was. So he was at the dispensary launching something from Belushi Farms, his own product, and he was just down there drinking coffee and taking pictures with people.
Well, he's into the marijuana business now, right? The cannabis.
Yeah, that's what he was launching down there. And anybody that had ever seen Blues Brothers was down there trying to get a picture with him.
The original Blues Brothers at its time, good movie. When they made it in the mid '90s, so he could be in it with John Goodman. Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
I don't even know if I've seen that one, but that's
It's called Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah.
And it's with Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, and John Goodman. Anything that shows John Goodman singing and dancing, because for some reason he thinks he's a good singer. If you notice, John Goodman sings on a lot of his stuff. He's not.
Yeah, he tries.
He's not. He tried singing on Roseanne. He sang in a few of his movies. He's not a good singer. He's about as good as Bruce Willis was in the 80s. when he
Oh
thought
my God, Bruno.
terrible, terrible.
He like put out a
Those-
cassette. A
Yeah,
cassette.
he did.
You remember that
Yeah.
album he had?
He had that song on the boardwalk. He redid on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
He would be singing during those Seagrams commercials. Oh, terrible.
You know, it's funny to equate that to something modern. I think that Jimmy Fallon likes to sing a lot, but
It does.
I like
shouldn't.
Alan, and I think he's.
I
actually
like Jimmy Fallon. I just
decent
don't think
singer.
he should sing.
You don't like seeing him with the barbershop quartet when he does that skit.
Well, that's funny, but like he did like a Christmas album this year, and I can't
I
like-
can't stand Jimmy Fallon personally.
like the
Fallon?
I think-
songs. I'm just like, why are you singing? Like you shouldn't
So-
sing.
Jimmy Fallon can't ever just not be in the shot, you know? He's so fake laugh in your face. Like, and anytime anybody starts to do something, he's got to move. Like, even if a musician, they're like, he'll introduce a band and they'll be up there singing, he'll get up on the stage next to him and like dance or something. And just, he's got to, like, he can't just let other people do their thing without him trying to like be on camera all the time. And that drives me nuts. I'm like, dude, just sit back. Like, you're the host of this show. Everyone's like, we know you're here, buddy. We know. Like you never saw Letterman do anything but just, sit back like this with a coffee and interview people and just cool as a cucumber, man. Just
Did you guys hear that? She's dreaming.
Oh, I love that. The little
Yeah, she's totally dreaming.
Somehow I had this door shut down here. One of the cats opened it and he's going back and forth. So distracted. I don't know how. I don't know. I saw his paw, like where the doorknob is.
Yeah.
And I saw his paw like a credit card. Just go like this. Just go like this, and he opened the door.
My boy, they're whining like a big baby. I'm like, man, calm down.
Pets.
Right?
Pets.
Okay. Who is next? We start really talking, which is great, but I lose track of who just went.
I think we're on to number 6, right? So I have to do my number 6.
Number 6.
Yes.
We're almost halfway done, guys.
Oh yeah. I'm having a blast.
So my number 6 is Patch, played by Dudley Moore in 1985's Santa Claus the Movie. I love that movie. It's another one that doesn't get enough love. And he's just like, he's kind of like almost like the misfit elf. He tries so hard to do things, and he's trying to impress Santa, and then he ends up screwing up a bunch of stuff. And it's the reason I didn't like John Lithgow for the longest time, because he plays a bad guy in it. And I was like, you mean evil bastard. And then I was like, oh, you're one of the best actors ever.
John Lithgow's best parts are him playing a bad guy.
Yep. But like, when you're like 10, you're like, I don't like you. So it was pretty funny.
Dudley Moore was pretty popular and funny in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Just looking this up.
Yeah, he's done some good
I
stuff.
don't think I've seen this one.
I haven't seen it, but I know
Because you
of it.
said John Lithgow. Like, I don't think I've seen this movie at all. I had to look it up.
Oh yeah, it's cool. I don't, like I said, it's one of those ones I don't think gets enough love. But there's like the same thing as One Magic Christmas. They both came out in 1985. And 1985 just was a big year for movies. There's a lot of huge things that came out in 85.
A lot of things came out good in 85, but more in 84. 84. Look up like top 50 movies of 1984. You're going to be like, this came out in 84. This came out in 84. This came out in 84.
Yeah.
85 was good. 85 was, and 86 was good. 84. that was the 84 was like, if you think of the 80s, 84 is the year that you usually go to. Movies, music, and the fashion.
Oh my
84.
God, there's so many.
Oh my gosh, go to 84.
Dude.
Gremlins, Story, Karate Kid,
Yes.
Ghost
Here's a corn.
Chariots of Fire, The Natural.
Oh no, see, I thought Gremlins was 85.
What was 85?
Yep, it's
Oh my
Gremlins.
goodness.
Firestarter. The Nightmare.
Toxic Avenger, dude. Toxic Avenger.
84, dude. That was the year. That was
Mm.
the year. We could do a whole podcast on the best movies that came out in 1984. No
And-
Oh,
joke.
that's a good idea.
And
No joke.
one of my favorites that popped up, the first one is Frankenweenie, 1984.
Oh my God, Frankenweenie, that's my dogs.
Yes. The Last Starfighter.
Starman.
Holy mackerel.
I also have a Frankenweenie
Oh, no.
tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a lot of times movies will use the setting of 1984, like that Wonder Woman 1984, which was crap. But
Yeah,
not
I know, I was
Uh,
disappointed in that.
that's because the first
No,
one was
because the first one was decent, I thought. The second one was like meh, very meh.
yes, very, very. All right, number 6, Larry.
I got the Grinch, but the animated version where Benedict Cumberbatch was the yeah, I like that one.
Oh man, you surprised me. I thought you were gonna do the
The 1966 version, the Dr. Seuss 66 version. No,
yeah. I thought you were.
nah, I
Gonna,
was going with 2018, man. I like that one. I was just watching. I've been watching it for the last 2 weeks, honestly.
oh,
I've actually never seen that one.
Oh, you ever seen that one?
I see.
No.
I like that version of it. Like, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I watched it, I think last year when it not when it came out. It was like a year old or something. But yeah, I gave it a watch. I was like, it's not bad, not bad. I put it on, I think, for Wesley, my oldest kid, and he liked it. Not bad. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. He's a great actor and voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor and voice actor. I'm glad you brought that up because when you hear him do some
Smaug.
voice acting, you wouldn't even think he was British.
I know, right?
And then when you hear him naturally
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah,
you're like, whoa, he's
Yeah.
very British.
Very British.
He's very Michelle Cefatelli. Very. By the way, guys, Michelle is all about England and the Brits. She is all about it.
That's
In
my lady, Michelle.
phone, under my contact, I have the British flag. For her.
Mm.
That's my lady, Michelle. She saw infatuated with Britain and UK, man. That in Ireland, UK, Ireland. That's her region.
Oh, nice.
Michelle did a trip. She did England, Ireland, and
Yep.
Paris.
Yep.
All in one trip. I remember.
So I said,
So how upset were you when Disney butchered Doctor Who?
I don't really watch Doctor Who, so
Ah, I'll find.
I've
somebody.
never been able to get into it. I think it's a little like,
It's cheesy.
yeah, I think it's a little
It's
too cheesy
so-
for me.
So when you watch New Who that came out in 2005, the first 2 or 3 seasons are 2005, but in England, and the effects are terrible. The cameras they're using look like home camcorders. It's
Oh
terrible.
wow.
But as it progresses and like the more doctors take over and they got bigger budgets, it became a pretty decent show because the budget caught up with the writing. But it is.
I
it
think
is
I had
very
tried to
painful
watch a couple
for
episodes.
the first like 2-3 seasons.
Of David Tennant because I like David Tennant a lot, and I was like, nope, I still can't
Yeah.
get into this.
Well, Matt likes it so much. He's got a big ass tattoo on his arm.
No, a lot of
yeah.
people are seriously into Doctor Who, so you know.
Is
Just cyber. I can't even pull the sleeve up. It's so tight. But see if you could see Peter Capaldi,
Oh wow.
the
Wow.
doctor looking at you, and then a Cyberman that's upside down
oh
from
man,
Doctor Who. But yeah.
I mean, I couldn't even get
Movie
myself to
and-
watch it when they had the woman doctor.
I mean, she wasn't bad. The writing was terrible. She would have been a great doctor
Oh yeah.
had Chris Chibnall not, like, he came on Doctor Who and just rewrote the whole universe basically. And it just, we went from like a consistent storyline that these are the rules of the show and this is what happens, to like, we're not going to do that anymore. And I just thought this would be a cool idea to do. So we're going to basically make my ideas canon. and then made the whole new cast run with it, and it was bad, but not because of Jodie Whittaker playing. Because if you've ever watched Broadchurch, she's an amazing actress, Jodie Whittaker, and she played a great doctor. She had terrible writers for episodes.
That's unfortunate.
It sounds a little bit like what they've done to Star Wars, is kind of like, let's make all these new things canon and like.
Exactly. And if she had been the doctor probably even 3 years before the new showrunner took over, it would have been phenomenal because she played a great character. But I wanted to see more of her character because towards the end of her run, it started to feel like Doctor Who again. And then they, new doctor and a new showrunner again. And it was just like, I can't. I'll keep the 10 years of Doctor Who that was good. And then obviously the 50 years of Doctor Who before that was good. But
right.
Disney bought it and ruined it.
That seems to be a common theme.
I was just going to say that.
Yikes.
I mean, everything's super, like, everything has to be like PC, trans, gay, race, like it's just everything's that now instead of just a cool alien show. So it's like it's hard to watch.
Right. It's like
does Disney do like a lot of stuff? Because like I don't see them as somebody who's welcoming to anything like that.
Oh my God, they're huge advocates for that stuff.
Really? That's surprising to me.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. All their stuff. Oh my God. Get me on Doctor Who. I'll talk all night.
All right, my number 6. It's one that we've all seen. It's Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, 1990. I think it was already mentioned.
Yes.
So I'm just
classic.
Seconding that. I'm going to start to get into the kids now.
Did you say it was 1990? I thought the first Home Alone was like 88.
No, it was 90. I was a freshman in high school when it came out.
Wow.
Yeah. No, what you might be thinking of is Uncle Buck, because that came out in 89.
Oh, he was in that, wasn't he? Macaulay
Which is also apparently where the idea for Home Alone came from. So.
Yes, 100%. And John Candy is also in Home Alone.
The musician in the truck.
Yes.
The
Hulk
and the Home Alone house is the house in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Really?
Is it? I didn't know that.
I not know that. If we were doing a top 10 list of Thanksgiving movies, that would be my number 1, because I think that is such a great movie. I don't want to
That movie is super fantastic.
So funny. So fun. Best Thanksgiving movie, arguably the best John Hughes movie. Do a podcast just on John Hughes.
Yeah.
On all his movies. I figured, by the way, I'll get this out now since it's fresh on my mind. Last year we did a Academy Awards one, which I thought was fine, but we kind of were forced to watch movies we really want to watch. We could do that again or not do it again, but I thought we should do more movies, film ones. We could do it before or after the Academy Awards, and just have some kind of theme. Mob movies, best Academy Award movies, like movie of the year or things like that. Yeah, because I really think we really get into it when we talk about movies that we've watched and we've enjoyed versus being forced to watch something. And when we were doing it, we only watched like half the movies. When there's 10 movies nominated, and we're trying to cram, we got a month to watch 10 movies, and half of them we didn't even really want to see. And then we're predicting like, okay, I think this guy's going to win Best Actor and this chick's going to win Best Actress. And we did it. We pulled it off. But I think we can do more.
I mean, I think some of that goes to like I'm not saying you're saying this, but I think some people's arguments are always like, oh, these movies are nominated and I didn't even hear of it. Well, it has nothing to do with whether it's popular or not. You know, it has to do with whether it's a good movie. If you want what's popular, that's what the People's Choice Awards are for. And but what I do like about it is like watching stuff that maybe I had no intention of watching is sometimes you get something that you're like, I would have never watched that, and that was excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always a gem, and you're like, I'm forcing myself to watch it because I have to. And as soon as you get started, you're like, well, I'm into this. What was the one with Annette Bening and Jodie Foster last year?
Oh, Naiad?
What was it, Naya?
Naiad?
Oh,
I
yeah,
think-
that was a good one.
That was
actually a good one.
I would have
Yeah.
never watched that if we didn't have that podcast. And I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I
also think that's why they expanded it to 10 pictures again, because they figured, oh, well, maybe some more popular ones will get in there. But that, like, I think they should just make a category for, like, best popular film or something.
Mhm.
You know, like, add an extra category, and you don't necessarily need, because I think 5 best pictures is really all you need as nominees, you know?
Yeah. They drag it on, and there's a theme song for every movie.
Yeah.
Things like that. You can really, I think that's a good idea. Like, best superhero movie or whatever.
Well, yeah, and I think they do need a little bit more categories like that too, because like, there's certain things that are not ever gonna really like I like the Golden Globes has musical or comedy as a category,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're putting the best comedy ever made up against the best drama ever made, drama's always gonna edge the comedy out. So like, you need separate categories.
Right. Yeah. So you could have like best comedy movie, something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird when you have like a Marvel movie, for example, and there'll be like 2 or 3 that come out in one year. They're the highest grossing movies of the year. They had the biggest audiences, and then they don't get nominated, or they get like, one nomination, special effects.
Well, that's because it's really just the highest grossing. It's not the best movie.
But I think though, if you have the biggest audience, are you not also saying that this is one of the best movies since, it had the biggest grossing, it made the most because the most people came and saw it.
Because they were originally started for the art of it, not for the. I always am going to argue against that because I don't think things deserve something just because it was popular.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, like, make a category for it.
Right. Like, I'm totally for like a popular category.
Right.
But I think the actual best film made every year, the best picture, is not necessarily going to be the most popular.
It usually isn't.
Right.
So who won last? Oh,
Oppenheimer.
Last year was Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. It was a good movie.
And
That
sometimes
was
you do
great,
get things that
actually.
fall into place, like the Year of Silence of the Lambs. I'm sure that was
Yeah,
super,
so
popular. But like,
it won movie, director, lead actor, lead actress. Yeah.
I mean, fantastic. I saw it in the theaters, and I don't think you should have seen it any other way than being surrounded by Bose speakers.
I did not see it in the movies. That is a regret.
No.
I saw it, but not in the movies. Hey, man, a lot of things I had to watch when I was younger, I had to watch them with my mother. So if she thought it wasn't age appropriate or she wasn't interested, I couldn't see it.
Facts,
And on the flip
facts.
side, I had to watch things that I didn't want to watch. I wouldn't have gone to the movies to see Hot to Trot. I would not have. I had no interest in seeing a talking horse and Bobcat Goldwyn. None. But she wanted to see it, so I had to see it. It is what it is. Who's next? Matt, you, number 6?
Oh my number 6, Howard Langston, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way.
Talk about it first.
I got to get that Turbo Man.
Just the best. And You know, thinking about it, I'm not 100% sure if I like Schwarzenegger's character more or Sinbad's mailman character more, but I mean, that movie is so funny. And I mean, the pure motive of just trying to get a toy for the son, but also kind of because he procrastinated and didn't do it he was supposed to. But, you know, just the back and forth between just the hijinks of this giant man, you know, being powerless to get this one thing from all these people that have it. And it's just, it's such a funny take on it. Because, I mean, ordinarily, you know, he would just, I mean, he's Schwarzenegger. He would just muscle that thing from you and take it, you know, but he's like constantly losing this toy and going all these lengths and ends up in the costume and I'm Turbo Man, and then jumps, you know, does the thing, and he has the fight with Sinbad at the end, and it's on the parade, and you know, the unveiling at the on TV when his son's watching and everything, and it's like I didn't, you know, get you a Turbo Man, I am Turbo Man, you know, so it's like one step above. And I don't know, what a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Classic. I say classic a lot, but
I like Arnold Schwarzenegger doing comedies. I know he's known for action, but I like him in comedies outside of Junior, because I was terrible. But this is gonna fall under one of those categories that I'm just guessing, just like I was guessing before with Jim Carrey. I'm just guessing that Arnold Schwarzenegger did not make the cut for Michelle's list. Just a guess.
No, but that is one of the Schwarzenegger movies I can handle. And
Michelle,
Kindergarten Cop.
Big Schwarzenegger.
Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop was great. Twins was great.
Twins. Yes.
I think the only real action movie of his I actually like is True Lies.
That's a good one,
True
though.
Lies is good.
Like
Yeah.
Rambo, Commando, Terminator,
Total Recall.
Terminator 2,
Recall.
Total Recall.
What's Predator?
Predator, yeah. Original Predator.
Hey, you got to convince me. But, you know, when Michelle is looking forward to seeing Anthony Hopkins next flick, she's not looking forward to seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just saying. So, but yeah, I like the, what was that, Jingle All the Way? Is that what that was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, Rita Wilson played his wife. Tom Hanks' wife in real life. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What was good too, what they did with that movie, is they didn't make Arnold Schwarzenegger seem really big physically, because Sinbad is a big man. He's taller than Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Big Show, the wrestler Big Show was in it, and he's 7 feet tall. So
yeah,
so they did.
They had him in a winter, like an overcoat a lot of the time. So he did, you know, he wasn't in an extra medium T-shirt muscling it up or anything. But yeah,
they didn't want to
It's
give.
funny that you mentioned that.
The whole, you know, if he just wanted it, he could just take it. You know, they didn't want that. They made him like a more average size guy.
Yeah, that's a good point. They had all these other guys that were dwarfing him a little bit. It's
like Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. In the comic books, Wolverine is short. He's small.
Wolverine's my height in the comics. Yeah. He's 5'3".
Hugh Jackman is 6'2". But you notice in a lot of the movies, he's fighting guys.
Oh my God, I think I'm taller than you. By an inch, but still. That's shocking.
Oh yeah. I'm actually standing right now.
Good.
All right. Believe it or not, we're only halfway done, and we're almost 2 hours in.
We've gone on a lot of tangents, I think, tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fine. That's a podcast. We're bound
true.
by commercials or a schedule or anything like that. This could be as long as we want. And if Larry wants to chop it up into clips for just to hear our picks, we can do that too, because that's what he's done with our football picks in the past. All right, top 5.
5.
Michelle, you're number 5.
So my number 5 is Sam the Snowman, voiced by Burl Ives from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's gonna be like just to go with something as cliche as just like iconic, and just like the perfect character, perfect snowman, and then Burl Ives' voice, talking, singing, it's just all perfection.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that movie. They're all such classics, and they're all on Prime right now, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, although I wanted to watch the Charlie Brown one, and they were like,
think for some reason, I think Snoopy's only on Apple.
He ruined
Is
it.
it? I just got Apple TV to watch Silo.
Yeah.
Apple has the rights to all the Charlie Browns.
Mm.
So that's how you
Yeah, like I don't even think they play them on TV anymore, which is like messed up.
They stopped that 2 years ago. Yeah.
Like,
It's messed up.
why would you do that? You know, like
The only Charlie Brown that my son has been able to see was that Peanuts movie that came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's got like new school animation, which looked weird for a Charlie Brown, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, but when you think of Charlie Brown, you think of Halloween, you think of the Christmas, and the tree being super small and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to ruin that. Larry, you're number 5.
Well, number 5 has already been mentioned. That's Santa Claus by Tim Allen.
Oh yes.
No, well, actually, he brought up Frosty from Santa Claus.
Jack Frost.
Jack
Frost. Nobody brought up Tim Allen? Santa Claus. Number 5.
You actually are the first to bring up that.
Yeah, Santa Claus. Tim Allen can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And all of them. You know
How many do they have?
Man,
so they have 3 movies.
Was it 4 or 5?
I thought it was. So it was 3 movies and 2 seasons of the show, The Santa Clauses on Disney Plus.
Oh, have any of you seen that show? Is it any good?
I have not seen it, but I thought it would be worth a watch, but I just haven't gotten around to it, honestly.
Yeah, because the last one wasn't the Miss Claus. Then he had to find a wife.
You had to get married or something.
Yeah.
No, wasn't that the second one? Because the third one was Jack Frost took over. Yeah,
third one was Jack
too.
Frost.
He had to get married.
Yep. The second one was Claus.
And it was he married the mean school teacher.
Yep.
I felt like the Santa Claus was a good storyline. Like they had like, especially for like stuff that's newer. I mean, granted it's like 30 years old now, but like compared to all these really classic stuff from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, that was like a good one that they hadn't made anything good like that in a while.
I like the first one a lot, and I like the third one because of Martin Short.
Yeah.
First and the third.
They made it.
Who's
you, Gil?
Number 5. No one's mentioned this yet. I have a feeling it will be mentioned though. I got Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase.
Yes.
1989.
That's my man.
And one of the reasons that I really like it, for me personally, I love Chevy Chase wearing the Chicago Bears hat.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Look, that movie was crazy, especially when she made the turkey and it was chewed on the turkey. Oh man. And the mole man with the cat. That's just a hilarious movie.
The lights.
The lights.
Trying so hard to get the lights to work. And he starts beating the crap out of his Christmas decorations outside. And he on his boss because he doesn't get the bonus.
Yeah, then come away. They kidnap the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look out for him. You know, he's just that in-law that whoever all got him, that crazy in-law, like, man, that's your cousin. You know.
Or how about the neighbors next door? All the bad stuff always happens to them. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so I can relate to Clark because you know, I'm the guy that if I'm putting up Christmas lights, I can't get it to work, or I, you know, staple the wire onto my glove and I'm stuck up there, or I fall off the ladder. I'm him. That's me. So very relatable.
Absolutely.
I really like when they go sledding.
Oh yeah, when you said he rubbed all the
Yeah, he rubbed the stuff on it.
You're like, yo. That's a funny part of the movie. That's hilarious.
And
that's a lot. He says a lot on that sled. He said,
oh, that's funny. That is my wife's favorite Christmas movie. Gotta mention that too.
Good job, Mary.
Absolutely.
All right, Matt, you're number 5.
Number 5 is Willie Stokes, played by Billy Bob Thornton in the movie Bad Santa. I love that movie. It's not good. It's very vulgar, and it's, you know, it's a classic Billy Bob Thornton drunk, you know, butthole movie, but it's just, I don't know why. It comes on, I watch it. Bad Santa 2, I don't recommend. It's not good. But the first one, the way he's just, I could just picture being that irritated with everybody when I'm like 62, you know, and just walking around and just not even caring anymore. And just the way he goes about life and just so nonchalant, regardless of if he's on top or on bottom, is just, it's hilarious, man. The little elf dude, the little person guy in that movie, dude, he's so funny. I love that character. He's in like the scary movies and stuff. Like he's always playing something funny, and yeah, love that guy.
Jim Carrey's movie too, Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yes,
because he was.
Oh my God! Yeah,
he was the one that had the affair.
Yes,
those 3 boys.
Yeah,
his. Yeah. I
oh
love
God.
that.
I forgot about that movie. He had the 3 big boys in the trailer.
Yeah. And they were like
oh
smart.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Really smart.
But yeah. So Willie Stokes, Billy Bob Thornton. It's a staple of the holidays. You know, you got to watch him curse and drink for a little bit in a dirty Santa suit.
Yeah, that's a good one. The late Bernie Mac and John Ritter, both in that.
Yes. Oh my God. The Bernie Mac show, I watched almost every season of that on repeat.
Yeah,
love the Bernie Mac show. Oh my! I loved all them old sitcoms.
Yeah, just great cast, great movie.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you with that one. That scene when the kid approaches him and he's sitting down eating and he turns.
That's
around.
what I always think of.
Oh, he's like, I'm on my effing lunch break, and he's got the piece of lettuce dangling out of his mouth.
It's like, what, somebody drop you on your head? On my head? Yeah, how is somebody going to drop you on someone else's head? How is someone going to drop me on my own head? It's like, what? God damn it, are you effing with me? He's just so mad.
I'm a very big Billy Bob fan. Very big. This show on Paramount Plus, the Landman, is really good. He's had
I've heard about that.
Good.
Goliath is good. Yeah,
he commands the screen. When the first season of Fargo, he was awesome. awesome.
Yeah, Fargo was great. That was that on FX. I feel like
was
that
on
was
FX.
Yeah.
I saw a bit of that. That was good. That
Watch
was
it on
Did you know that Billy Bob Thornton wears women's jeans?
Did not know that.
Does he? Does he? Does he have skinny legs? Maybe
That
he
was
can't
a
fit.
recent thing. He was on like, I don't know if it was like Drew Barrymore, somebody's talk show, and he was talking about it. And he was like, yes, in fact, I'm wearing some right now, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, he was like legit hardcore about it. I guess he feels like they fit him better.
That was Angelina
Yeah,
Jolie,
yeah.
right?
He was married to her for a
Yeah.
short while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. By the way, that's a great get there, Matt. Willie Stokes.
Willie Stokes.
You may hear that again.
Oh yeah.
You may. All right. Number 4, Mount Rushmore. 4 Horsemen. Your
Yeah.
number 4.
So that's me.
That's
So this is, I'm getting to a Ebenezer Scrooge. My favorite version of Scrooge ever, played by Michael Caine in the 1992 Muppets Christmas Carol.
I just watched that last.
It's just, again, like, he's perfection for the role. And I think what I really like about it is he played it like he was in A Christmas Carol with all people, like not just Muppets. It was just really well done.
Oh man.
But I also think, like, I have 2 real favorite versions of A Christmas Carol, and Muppets Christmas Carol is like my number 1 favorite version of that. It's actually done extremely well, considering like you would think, oh, this is a kid's version of it, but it's great.
I'm trying to think of a version that wasn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to always be good. How if it's catered for kids, catered for adults,
But
in between, if there's like a new version, I'm on it. I'm on it. Even though I know he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts and his former partner, so he's actually visited by 4 ghosts.
It's actually good to see like different takes on it.
Yes. Who was there was one that came out that was very dark. It was like a mini series. It was played by what's his name? British guy.
Are you thinking maybe George C. Scott one?
No. I'm thinking this is a British guy. He was in LA Confidential. Oh my goodness.
Guy Pearce?
Guy Pearce. Very good, Michelle. Guy Pearce. I think it was like
he's actually Australian.
He's Australian?
Yes.
I did not know that.
His breakthrough movie was Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I know of it. I have no interest in it. That's one of those Tu Wong Fu. Thank you, Julie Newmar.
Yeah, Tu Wong Fu is the American version of the Australian Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Well, I saw the Tu Wong Fu one, and I wished that I maybe didn't watch that movie.
Because you need to see the original.
I will. What's that town again in Texas? El Paso.
El Paso.
El Paso.
On that.
I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, when America remakes something that's another foreign thing, it's gonna suck ass.
So that Speak No Evil movie that just came out with James McAvoy, 2 years after Speak No Evil came out, they literally
wasn't it like originally Danish or something like that?
Yes, there was a Danish film, and 2 years later, Speak No Evil came out with James McAvoy, the American version. So they must have seen a screening or something, an early pre-release of the Danish film, and just started filming an American version. Because 2 years is not from Showtime to Showtime. 2 years is like they had to have been almost at some point overlapping in the filming process, I would think.
Wow.
That's crazy how fast that
happens.
turnaround was.
That happens sometimes. Look at the girl with the dragon tattoo.
I like that movie.
Well,
Yeah, I thought there was a couple of those.
they were the American well, I don't know if that's American, but the
Which one?
Yeah, the Rooney Mara
the one-
version.
one with
Yeah, that is kind
Daniel
of.
Craig,
Yeah.
That's the American version.
and that came out like a year or two after the first one.
Yeah. So which one was the first? So the other one was the first one.
The other one was
Yeah.
first.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the
'Cause there was
second one.
Two
No.
different actresses that played the
Yeah,
girl with the
two
dragon
actresses.
tattoo.
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
It threw me because I was like, "Oh, this is the
Rufus? New Rumi, well, whatever.
Rooney
And then-
Mara.
no, Mara is the one who did the second one.
Mhm.
Mara.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other one was that other chick, the one from Lamb. What's her name?
Yeah, what a bad movie.
I have that
Oh,
on my list. I just haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
don't waste your time. Don't even think about wasting your time.
We number 4, Larry.
four. I got Ralphie played by Peter Billingsley in Christmas Story.
Oh yes.
Great.
Ralphie. You got the shirt on, brother. You got the shirt on. You got the shirt on, brother.
Right. Right, Jill.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Glad that there's a marathon of it
Yeah.
here. It's so great. How great is it? That my number 4 is Ralphie Parker, played by Peter Billingsley.
Hey. What's going on, man?
How about that?
Hey, brother.
How about that?
You know what we do, brother.
Yeah, you know what we do.
You know what we do.
A little creepy at times.
I
but
know.
what it is. Yep. So that's also my number 4.
Wow.
All seen it. I think it's great. Larry thinks it's great. I'm assuming Matt thinks it's great. Michelle,
Absolutely.
Look,
do you think it's great, Michelle?
she got the same on thing. Look.
I do, but funny enough, it didn't make it in my top 10.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. That's
Michelle's a-
classic.
He's a hard get, boy.
Well, I was trying to think of characters I love,
Okay.
You didn't like
like that I love. Not that I dislike those characters, but
Well, did you see A Christmas Story Christmas where Ralphie's older and he comes back?
Yeah.
yes.
Not funny.
Nah, at all.
It
I actually
wasn't.
didn't see
It was
but I
very
saw when it
serious.
came out.
Ralphie
It was very
never
serious.
grow up. Ralph was never supposed to grow up.
Yeah. I don't.
With that Red Ryder BB gun, man.
They got another woman to play the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Airplane.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was also in What About Bob? She played
Yes.
Right.
What about Bob?
another great movie.
Yes.
All right. Your number 4 there, Matt. What you got?
Oh man, my number 4 is one I'm not sure any of you have heard of, and it's a character played by Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
All of the movies, all of them, they all take place at Christmas.
You know, it's
They're
crazy.
all
You
Christmas.
said that, right? Man, it's crazy you said that, right? Because I was really literally thinking about Harry Potter because you were totally correct. It's always around Christmas. And I was like, man, I would actually put Harry Potter in there because it's always around Christmas. But that's they're not going to say it's a Christmas movie. They're going to say, no, it's not a Christmas movie. That's
Well,
So
I
why
mean, it's the
is
same
every
thing as all the
year-
others. I mean, they actually don't, because they always start around his birthday, which is the summer, and then they have very big Christmas scenes, though.
Yes.
But that still doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't consider them a Christmas movie.
When you're watching Freeform or ABC, or even if you go on like HBO, like right now, you go to HBO, Harry Potter, Christmas, candles, lights, it's everything.
Ball. The ball. And
Yeah.
Ford. It was around
If
Christmas time.
you're gonna
right?
run through the Harry Potter franchise, you're probably gonna do it around this time of year. I
Yep.
would think it's very Christmassy.
I
Magic
co-sign
and all kinds of stuff. I almost made Hagrid the number 4 instead of Harry Potter, but I figured more notable for most people. But yeah, Harry Potter at number 4.
I co-sign you.
It gives me cozy Christmas vibes.
Me too.
That's why I say this is your list.
As soon as I said it, I saw your face, Gil. You were like, "That ain't a Christmas movie."
Yo, man,
It's his list, but we can contest it.
Last year, that's why I had to come in tentatively because he killed me with the same look when I said Edward Scissorhands. He said,
Well, I also feel like he's judging me for where I put Harry Potter on the Christmas list as well.
It's very high.
Yep.
It's not
That's because
just
I watched those movies.
Gil
around
may not
Christmas
say
more
it,
than
but his face
me.
is gonna say it.
yeah.
I do
Okay.
watch those around Christmas a lot.
Yes.
I don't even know the last time I watched a Harry Potter
I
movie.
go sleep to Harry Potter every night, Gil.
I'm serious.
I'm dead serious. Go to sleep to Harry Potter every night. That's the only thing I sleep of when I won't think of murder or death. Look, I'm dead serious. If I sleep anything outside of Harry Potter, I die in my sleep. They kill me every time. I got killed last night and I have Harry Potter on. Yeah, somebody literally killed me, shot me 9 times. And if I survived, I'm not lying to you, can't make this up. I'm not lying.
You're lying.
I survived it though.
Dude,
my cousin watched me get shot. He was in my video, in my dream. He watched me get shot. I was like,
Oh
come
my
on,
God.
man.
of all the things I would have thought you would have said, I go to sleep to.
No,
I would not have thought you would have said Harry Potter every night.
My dog's a Harry Potter fan. We leave it on for him throughout the day to watch, so he don't be alone.
I have a friend that does that.
Yeah, we leave Harry Potter on.
This guy is from the mean streets of Trenton. Okay,
Don't
New
judge me,
Jersey.
America. Don't judge me.
I
Don't judge
mean,
me.
this.
Don't judge a book by the look. Hey, Gil, we must agree, right? Don't judge a book by the cover. And I always
That's
say,
true.
when it's a great book, the cover will be tattered.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's been read a lot.
I would have never, if there was a question out there, poll question, and it could have even been one of the options,
Right.
I would have never picked Larry Loper falls asleep every night to watching Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Never would I ever.
Think about it, brother. It started off as a kid version in the first one, right?
Mhm.
He ended up being an adult on the last one. The last one was dark.
Mhm.
The last two, the Deathly Hollows was a dark version of it. It was grown.
Second one was dark with the snake going through the tunnel.
Yeah, but still had more kid vibes to it. The
Okay.
last two was not kid vibes at all. They were grown. Like,
Okay, yeah, no, you're right about that.
they were grown. So, but yes, my ladies at Harry Potter's fan. She took me to Ohio down Daggone Alley. They actually have a Daggone Alley in Kent State.
Well,
Oh my
also,
gosh.
you got to take into account that Daniel Radcliffe is just a couple of years older than me. So it was like, every couple of years I was older, Harry Potter was older, I was older, Harry Potter was older. And it was, it was very cool to experience that growing up. Like if I just kind of watched them all as an adult, I'd be like, yeah, cool movies. But like, I don't know. It's like when you watch like a sitcom or something, and then like you watch that actor in another sitcom later, and it's like you kind of watch their career progress and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like I grew up with that, and it was always
together. You were about the same age. You're about the same size.
He's probably taller than me though.
A little bit. He's got you a little bit. Yeah.
My little brother is slightly older than you, Matt. He's 31, and he was reading the first Harry Potter book right before the first movie came out. And so he kind of introduced me to it. But what was funny was I had been in the movie theater and I had seen a preview for it coming out, and I was actually extremely excited, not realizing what it was, because when I was a kid, there was a Halloween special called The Worst Witch. And it was these girls that were at like witch school. It was literally like, so when I saw the Harry Potter preview, I was like, oh my God, this is so much like The Worst Witch. but it was cool because then also, you know, have Alan Rickman in it, which is one of my favorites of all time. It just became like a whole thing. But also because of my little brother reading it, I started reading the books, and I actually read all the books as they came out.
So I read the books like kind of during / after most of the movies had come out. So my first experiences with Harry Potter were the movies, but the books are much more detailed and add a lot more to the story. And it's creepier. It just is. They changed a lot for the films, but I did get to the books later. So like all of my Harry Potter experience is, oh, it's coming out around Christmas time. It's going to be snowing in the movie. Everybody's going to be in robes, walking up snowy hills and magic and, you know, the candles in the big foyer and the goblet of fire. You know, it's Sorting Hat time. It just feels Christmassy for sure.
Your list. It's your list. Listen, I was a little bit surprised, but then when Larry said what he said, I'm over it.
You're like, nothing shocks me now.
I guess it is a Christmas movie. I guess it is.
Christmas movie to me, brother.
What could I say? I mean,
Christmas movie to me, brother.
that's why I like it so much.
I know, right?
All right, we are. Who's next? Is it Michelle?
Yeah.
Top three.
Top three.
Top three. I got two cats in here now. All right. Top three. Your bronze medalist is
Grandma from A Garfield Christmas. 1987, voiced by Pat Carroll. The grandma character is fantastic, and she's also great in the Thanksgiving Garfield as well. Kind of one of those like sassy old nannies, and like she does a lot of fun stuff. She also brings a lot of like, you want a grandma like that, you know, sweetness. Just a like totally fantastic character. And very like what you would want at Christmas time too, from like a granny.
I thought the Garfield Christmas one was going to make your list. So I am not surprised. And it is a Christmas special. I just watched the Garfield movie recently.
Talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, the cartoon one that just came out recently.
Yeah.
Very recent.
Fun. Kind of made me a little bit, got me all up in my feelings a little bit. You know?
Yeah, I took my nephew to see it. It was pretty cute.
Yeah. Cool.
Man, I missed that release. I was going to take my boy, but we ended up seeing, it was either a Minions or a Despicable Me. Something came out recently around that time.
Oh, the fourth Despicable Me movie.
4, yeah, Despicable Me 4. That movie was hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
You didn't
Hot
like
garbage.
that? Oh,
No.
I watched it with my son. I thought
Gru is a villain. I don't know what they were doing with that movie.
Yeah, he hasn't been a villain.
Amy Wilson won.
Yeah, and he didn't stay very long in that one.
I must have missed a couple.
Yeah.
I remember the first one, and then I watched some Minions movies, and then we went to see Despicable Me 4, and I was like, why is he
2,
like
3.
being a
He's
good
been a
guy?
good guy ever since, because he met his chick the second one. And then the third, he met his brother. And then the fourth one, now he's
I just thought, he went from I'm going to steal the moon to like I'm babysitting. And I'm like,
He had a whole family. He had a whole family. He had a whole another kid. He had his own kid.
I wasn't mentally prepared for him to be like just like a good guy.
Okay, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite one, but I liked it, and I like the Minions movies too.
Minions good.
The Minions one, the last one, where it's where he's a boy in the 70s and Knuckles trains him and stuff like that. That one was good. The Sinister Six something like that.
Yep, the Sinister Six. Yep.
Oh yeah. That it wasn't.
You know, and four all that tied together at the end.
Yeah,
It all tied together. Every character.
Four, all the villains are in the jail.
Yep, in the prison when they were doing sing off, the dance off. Yep.
Cool.
And my three will be Scrooged with Bill Murray. Great movie, man. That's my movie right there.
I missed out on that one.
Like I know. I didn't even think about it. I love that movie.
Like you said, you can't go wrong with Scrooge. Any version of it. You know, but I thought that was a great twist on it, though.
That one's definitely one of those ones you forget how good it is until you watch it again, and then you're like, "Oh man."
Yeah, like I said, all these Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge, all these different versions or whatever, they're all good. Like who's done it bad?
None. Can't name one.
I can't.
It's a good story. I mean, it's hard to mess up a good story, you know.
I'm going to tell you how great.
And it's also like one that you can actually do over and over again, because there's other movies like when they're done over and over again, you're like, if I see another version of this, I will die.
If I see the Groundhog Day like premise done again, because dude, Marlon Wayans did a movie like that, where he kept waking up naked in like this.
He did.
Yeah, he kept doing that. And they did Happy Death Day 2. And it's just like this, I'm trapped in the same day movie just over and over and over. And I got sick of it.
Right.
Groundhog Day, great. Every other movie can go away.
Well, no big drama here. My number 3 is Ebenezer Scrooge, played by George C. Scott in A Christmas Carol, 1984. That is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol to date.
Man, we got doing it, you know.
Oh my God! And what's funny is George C. Scott's like the only guy in the whole movie without a British accent.
Wow.
Everybody else is British except for him. He has no accent. Love that movie. Love that movie. Again, another 1984 classic. 84. All right, Matt, you're number 3.
All right, I'm trying to find the year. I think it's 1998. So Jonathan Taylor Thomas in I'll Be Home for Christmas. If you've seen the movie where Jonathan Taylor Thomas gets super glued to a Santa costume and has to like hitchhike his way back home from, I think, college or something. Dude, that when I saw that movie like probably a dozen times over 3 years, maybe, with me and my brother, and actually me, my brother, and my sister, because we just loved that movie. And he was a lot like, he had another movie out called Wild America that we liked. It was about him filming like a bunch of crazy animals. Super funny. But I just remember that movie coming on a lot when we were growing up. So the premise of him being like stranded out in the middle of nowhere, and he wakes up in this Santa outfit and he's glued to it. He can't get it off, but it's this holy thing, and he keeps getting mistaken for like different like mall Santas and stuff, and he keeps getting like mugged, and he's having the worst life. Oh, classic. Yeah, OJTT, an icon of the 90s.
I have never seen that. That's when.
Never seen that, Gil?
No, I've never
seen it.
It's
a good one. You gotta check it out.
It's funny.
What's it called again?
I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah, it's good.
There's one that came out around that time.
What's that?
He had the girlfriend in that movie, didn't he? Like,
yeah,
he had the girlfriend waiting for him when he got back too.
Yep. I think that was the point. He kept trying to get back to her.
He was trying to get to the girlfriend. Yeah, that was a good one. Man, I ain't seen that in a while, man.
What happened to him? He was so popular in the 90s.
It's Hollywood, man. Michelle mentioned it, man. It's the Hollywood movie.
So when he got done filming, he did a couple of movies after Home Improvement, and then just didn't want to act anymore. He wanted to go to college, So he went and studied college and then got a job doing something else, and then has only made like 3 or 4 cameos in the last like 20 years. It's insane.
I think
'cause
he's
he
mostly
was
been
on-
like on Tim Allen stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on Last Man Standing is all I can really remember. But I
Yeah.
mean, even in that, he didn't look much different. He just, had shorter hair and glasses.
Didn't
But,
he?
I mean,
Did he go to like a good school? Like, wasn't he?
yeah,
like,
he went. He had like, he had actor money. When he turned 18, he probably had millions. So he could go to any
Yeah.
school he wanted to.
Well, I mean, you're not getting into Princeton because you got a lot of money.
Well,
You got to be.
I mean,
Oh, you are.
Yeah, you gotta
If
get
you
in,
want
but-
to.
If you want to be on the rowing team, I guess.
Well, I built a library at Princeton, so I go to Princeton.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right about that. I thought he went to like a good, like a real good, like an Ivy League kind of school. Like I know Natalie Portman went to an Ivy League school. Jodie Foster went to an Ivy League school. Brooke Shields went to an Ivy League school. I thought he went to an Ivy League school, but I don't remember which one. So my bad. Man, so we're doing top 2 now, right? Top 2.
Top 2.
We can almost see the finish line. How about that?
So
Michelle.
apparently he moved to Sacramento to attend Columbia University.
Columbia.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Columbia in Sacramento.
Yeah. Well, it's probably like a branch of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Columbia's in DC.
Anyway, had to Google it.
Yeah, I mean,
Had to
like
find out.
you don't have to go to Happy Valley to go to take courses for Penn State.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, just saying. My sister went to an Ivy League school, so upstate New York,
Heck yeah.
called Cornell. Anyway,
Takes me back to the office.
Michelle, your top 2.
So my number 2 is Emmett Otter from Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Show the tattoo. Come on.
1977. Jim Henson classic.
That's the key. It's a Jim Henson puppet
Yep.
movie. I watched it last year. Michelle recommended it. I watched it.
You enjoy it?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm sure if I was 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, and watched it at that age, I'd probably have a tattoo of it too. Right? That's when you're most impressionable.
Yeah, you're right about that, brother.
I got a Star Wars tattoo, not because of the stuff that's out now.
I mean, I like a lot of Henson stuff. Obviously, this arm is pretty much all Henson, but
Well, did you see that documentary that they had on him recently?
yes.
Awesome. It was
Hmm.
awesome.
I missed that.
Yes.
What's that on?
Was it?
It should be on Disney, I think. Ron Howard did it.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
documentary
okay.
on him.
I believe it's called Idea Man.
Yes, she's
That
right.
sounds good. Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
It was good.
Anybody that's a fan of the Dark Crystal would probably want to see that one.
That's on my arm too.
Is it really? Yo!
So that's funny.
How about that? All right, there, brother, man.
Now, it's a 2-part, but Michelle already gave me half of it. Okay,
Mhm.
and it's Rudolph, voiced by Billy Mae Richards. What I didn't know was a female actually was the voice of Rudolph. You know, I just learned that.
Mhm.
And Bert Ives as Sam the Snowman. They go with tandem. That's a tandem. You know, they go hand in hand. Same show. Sam was instructing, telling the story of Rudolph. You know, them two is classics, man. That's what I grew up on. We grew up on that. That's what we look forward to every Christmas time, bro.
Every Christmas.
Never failed. So, yeah, that was it. That's when you knew Christmas time was coming in.
That's true.
Unfortunately, I was always in trouble around that time of year. I was that kid. I was always that kid.
You weren't watching Harry Potter then.
Nah, Harry Potter wasn't been thought of. Look, she wasn't even an author then, I don't think. Who knows?
You ever hear DMX's version of Rudolph?
No.
Good.
Oh my god.
It's good.
Had a version of Rudolph?
DMX YouTube DMX singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed
I
Reindeer.
gotta check that out.
It's good.
Is
it's
it?
good. Yeah, I'm
I
telling
trust you,
you.
brother.
It's classic DMX. He's not cursing, but it's how he does it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Have
What?
you
Had
seen,
a very shiny nose.
have you seen the Walmart commercial that Busta Rhymes in? I'm like, what is happening?
Well, we have gone into a different world right now. After 2020 COVID hit, we enter a new dimension. And I don't know if y'all was privy to the new dimension, but the old stuff is what it is, old stuff. You got to go back in that time warp in order for the kids to understand that realm.
Right.
All they know is this. And we've been in this new world, what, 4 years going on 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That part.
Yikes.
That crazy. Yeah.
Yikes.
Busta Rhymes on the Walmart commercial. That part.
It's wild. I'm like, what's happening?
This ends. YouTube DMX singing Rudolph the
I
Red-Nosed.
gotta see that one, man.
He does it live. It's not like a recording. Like someone asked him to do. He's like, I know the words and everything.
Oh
What?
shit.
It's good. It's good.
Oh man. What you got there, Gilly?
My number 2, it was mentioned already. I said I'd come around to it probably, and here it is. Willie Stokes, Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa. This was the movie I saw in the movies instead of Elf.
It came out the same year?
Same year, runs time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Love Actually.
No, that's your number 1.
No, it's not. I don't even consider it a Christmas movie like everybody else does.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I even consider that a Christmas movie.
I understand that more than anything else, but I don't even think it came out at Christmas time.
I don't know. That's not my bag. Romance, British romance comedy, Christmas movie.
Who played in Love Actually?
Dude.
A lot of people.
What's his name? The dude from The Walking Dead, Andrew Lincoln.
Did Carmen Diaz playing it? Cameron Diaz?
No, that's The Holiday.
That's The Holiday.
Okay, that's what I think about The Holiday. That's a good one. I like The Holiday. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I like
Love
that
Actually came out in very early November, so you could take it how you want to take it.
Getting ready for the holidays. Because, as soon as Thanksgiving is over, people are in Christmas mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also that being a lot of British people, they don't have Thanksgiving. Their Christmas starts then.
Do they have Halloween in England?
Yes.
Oh, really?
But they don't, I don't think they trick or treat, but they do celebrate Halloween.
Oh.
They don't have Thanksgiving?
They don't have
Thanksgiving? Why? Right?
Larry.
Think about that. Just think about that.
Why? Well, we got Thanksgiving.
Did you really just ask that? What? They don't celebrate the Boston Tea Party either.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Hey, Gil, one of the things that kind of jumped out before I could catch it. You know what I mean? Like, why we got a Thanksgiving? Okay.
That was awesome.
There's a reason why they don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Yeah. They were actually probably pretty pissed at that holiday.
Probably, right?
Oh, that was good.
We got over this land, God knew they won't pay the taxes no more.
That was good. Who are we up to, Matt?
Yes.
You're number 2, Matt. You're silver medalist.
Oh man. Number 2 is a 2-pack.
I thought I was the one that was going to do these 2-packs. I'm glad.
Everybody did.
I'm glad.
So it's from a movie that's been mentioned over and over and over, but coming in number 2 is The Wet Bandits / Sticky Bandits from Home Alone,
Yeah.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yeah.
The only Home Alone movies that should be considered part of the franchise.
I agree.
Right.
Because
agree.
like Gil had mentioned earlier, if not for the Bandits, there would not be a movie. They bring more than Kevin McAllister does to the movie, I feel like. I mean, obviously, Kevin's the main character, but the comic relief of the grumpy Joe Pesci and the goofy Daniel Stern, the Marv. Oh my God, the part in two, when Marv grabs the sink and it's hooked up to the jumper cables and he turns into a skeleton screaming is, dude, I had to rewind that part.
Look,
I probably wore out the.
Look, they got a meme right with that, right? I just saw that because they got a meme, right? And the guy
on the thing, and he's screaming, and it's so unexpected because he's getting shocked for 10 seconds, and then it sparks it, and he's a skeleton. All this, dude.
And he's screaming, and his scream is hilarious. Like when he screams, it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. The visual is hilarious. Dude.
I am
Funniest.
so glad.
Yeah.
So glad you put them on the list. I'm so glad.
It's the same when the tarantula was on his face.
That was a real tarantula.
Yeah.
That was
It
real.
was. Yeah, I saw the behind the scenes. They put that thing on it. It walked down. He hit it with the crowbar. Oh my God.
Oh, that was great stuff. So good, so good. All right, like we're gonna do, before you announce your number one, you've got to give your honorable mentions first. You don't have to spend a lot of time on them. You can just go right through them, but you got to do your honorable mentions and then the grand reveal of your number one. So Michelle, your honorable mentions, then your number one.
Okay, so for honorable mentions, I have Dudley, played by Cary Grant from 1947, The Bishop's Wife.
Oh, that's an oldie.
Jim Hardy, played by Bing Crosby, 1942, Holiday Inn.
Another old one. That's a good one, Holiday. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, Holiday Inn's really good. Ralphie from Peter Billingsley from A Christmas Story. And then I added Tim Curry from Home Alone 2. I have kind of two here that I'm kind of just mentioning them as things because choosing a character isn't necessarily really possible. And the one is Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. I love it to pieces. I literally watch it on Christmas Eve every year, no matter what. But I just don't think there's one particular character. If I did choose one, it'd probably be the little girl who gets upset when they can't find Big Bird. And I can't remember if her name is Patty. I think it's Patty. And then my second favorite version of A Christmas Carol, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
Yep.
That's a good one. Very good, Michelle. Very good.
Heck yeah.
No good one.
I like it. I forgot about Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, it's funny because I think my favorite versions of A Christmas Carol are kind of like odd choices in a way, but they're just so good.
100%. Great job. Great job. All right, Larry. Your honorable mentions first, and then your number one.
Well, my honorable mention was the voice is Frosty.
Oh, was I supposed to say my number one too, or are we doing all honorable mentions first?
Honorable mention, then you do your number one. Did you do your number one?
No, I didn't.
All right, Michelle, your number one right now.
Okay, so my number one is kind of, I guess in a way predictable for Christmas movies, but we spoke about this a little bit briefly. So good old George Bailey, Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. Mm-hmm. I just think he's a very amazing character. And even though, like I said, it was never meant to be a Christmas movie, it still had to be number one.
But at least it feels like a Christmas movie.
It does, to a degree. Yes.
It feels like a Christmas movie.
Yes.
I love that one. I love your number one.
Man, that was my honorable mention, man. It was going to be my number one, honestly, but then something else kind of trumped it, right? But George Bailey, played by Jane Stewart, right?
Yes.
I already mentioned Frosty, voiced by Jackie Vernon. And my last honorable mention is I just wrote it down too, man. I just had it. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. It was Tiny Tim by Jerry Nelson, and I believe it was in the what's called movie that the year of with the color. So I think it was in 19. Not the one you. I thought it was the one you was talking about, but that's when I know it could have been black and white. It ain't 1843. It's let me look at the year it was, but it was because this particular one I'm looking at the picture of them, but I just gotta see what year it was. I'll get back on the year because I want to keep everybody in suspense of this year. But I get back to the year before it's up. My number one is actually the Santa Claus and Miracle on 34th Street, played by Edmund Gwynn.
That's a good one.
Play every year too.
The original one?
The original 1947. Yeah, black and white.
Nice.
Yeah. The original.
I was wondering if that was going to make somebody's honorable mention. I didn't think it was going to make anybody's list. It's your number one.
It's number one. That's like kind of like Christmas. You know what I mean?
You got to qualify it to me. I've seen that movie 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I had a little
put it around Christmas time. So one of the movies you had to wait for.
Natalie Wood.
My pop used to watch it a lot, man. So that was one of the ones that kind of grew on me because as a kid, at first I didn't, I wasn't into it. But then once you watch it every year, it's just like, okay, I do like this. This is a good movie, So that's my number one. Let me get that year for y'all.
That's a good classic number one. I like to have the Macy's Day Parade there.
Yeah, that
thing and all that. I like that.
I think it's from like 1947.
Yeah, it's 1947.
Good job. Good get. Good grab. All right, I guess I'm up. My honorable mentions are all like kid stuff. So I got Charlie Brown and Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965. Got Kris Kringle, voiced by Mickey Rooney, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town, 1970.
Nice.
Rudolph, voiced by Billy May Richards, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964. I got Frosty, voiced by Jackie Vernon, Frosty the Snowman, 1969. And I got The Grinch from The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, 1966. The original.
The original, the cartoon one.
And no big drama here. This movie was my number one a year ago. It got mentioned by Michelle as her number one. Also my number one, George Bailey, James Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. I watch it every year. I will watch it again within the next week and a half.
Yep.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. I have it recorded, and I can watch it on, I think, Amazon Prime. It's available. And black and white and color. I will watch black and white. I will. That I always cringe when the phlebotomist guy smacks George when he's a kid. And he's like, "Oh, not my
the
bag."
Pharmacist.
Yeah, the pharmacist. Yeah, he said, you was going to poison him. You're going to poison him.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah. I know you didn't mean it. Because he was all depressed about his
son dying.
Dying. Yeah. Great. I mean, that if we ever do a top 10 of just your favorite movies, it's gonna make my top 10. It's gonna make my top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably just miss out on top 5. Maybe it will.
Do you know that Jim Henson connection, Gil?
With It's a Wonderful Life? I feel like you might have told me this already.
I probably did.
It's not ringing a bell. Was it something about Jim Henson watched it and gave him the idea for something.
That's where Bert and Ernie's names are from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
The cab driver and the cop.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right.
I never would have put that together.
Well, you even hear at the end when George, he's like, Bert, Ernie. Like he said it together.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Take us home, Matt. Your honorable mentions.
Oh, man.
Your number one.
All right. Honorable mentions, like I said, are probably going to be more of the popular ones that I had to throw in there, but weren't on my list. So we have The Grinch, played by Jim Carrey in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Buddy the Elf, played by Will Ferrell, 2003 in Elf. Let's see. I had Kevin McAllister, because I put the Wet Bandits in my list. Home Alone. I had Ralphie, Christmas Story, Kris Kringle, Santa Claus, Miracle on 34th Street, Clark Griswold, Charlie Brown, and Hermie the Elf. And I also put I also put Cindy Lou Who and the train conductor from Polar Express.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Polar Express.
I'm not either, but the fact that Tom Hanks plays like 5 characters in that movie is pretty cool. I mean, shows a little bit of range, even though it's just voice acting. And the number one is one that's been mentioned by one person and will probably irritate Gil, is Jack Skellington, Nightmare Before Christmas. Because, I mean, clearly, look at me. It's going to be my number one. I love that movie. And I think more like Michelle, I think of it more as a Christmas movie. I watch it more at Christmas time than I do at Halloween time. To me, it's more... Yeah, it's more about him leaving Halloween Town to try to steal Christmas and make Halloween Town into Christmas Town, and then deliver the Christmas presents to the kids, just not knowing that this creepy stuff he's making is scaring kids. He thinks he's being Santa Claus or Sandy Claus, in that movie, and gets trapped with Oogie Boogie, and then Santa comes back and saves Christmas. So it really is a Christmas movie that starts in Halloween. But I still feel like it could be both. But in any case, that's good. If you say what's your favorite Christmas movie, I'm just going to go, Nightmare Before Christmas. It's Tim Burton. It's Christmas time. It's absolutely. Jack Skellington is a number one. Sorry to disappoint you, Gil, with that closer.
I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. And knowing you, I could see it being number one. I said,
absolutely.
It could pass for both, but I kind of always felt like it was more Halloween-y than it was Christmassy. But I'm not like it's not Christmas.
He could have said Krampus.
I was going to put Krampus on the list, but I felt like it was too new to really, and nobody would really know it,
I had Krampus
in 10 years.
I have Krampus. I had no main character for him. I had Krampus.
Yeah, I think I don't even remember what the main character's like the actor's name is. Like I can picture his face, but
Krampus is in the character. He's in that new Red One movie with the Rock.
Yeah, is he the one that slaps the Rock?
Yeah.
Did you see
I watched it. It was
good.
It was meh.
Yeah,
I heard it was very meh.
That's the Rock for you.
That's what it was. Don't go out of your way.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, brother, because I definitely wasn't.
Nah, there was a couple decent parts. It was okay. But I mean,
will a 5-year-old enjoy it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I watched it.
I'll make sure I put it on for my nephew then.
Yeah, a 5-year-old will watch it. I think it was better than Beetlejuice.
You did not like Beetlejuice, man.
I did not.
I did not like that movie.
And and this is just a personal thing. So the bad guy in the movie.
And the kid.
The chick. I always found her very attractive, and in this movie, I very much do not.
Oh, you talking about Winona Ryder?
Monica Bellucci?
Yes.
Oh, you talking about the mama?
Yeah, the one that's trying to kill. No, I'm talking about the one that's trying to kill Beetlejuice. His
Yeah,
ex-wife.
Monica Bellucci.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
The dead girl that
What's
comes
she
puts
playing?
herself
That's the
back
first time I
together.
ever saw the girl. What's she playing outside of that?
the second Matrix movie.
I'm not a big follower of her work.
She said she's in the second Matrix movie?
Yeah,
What part was she? Who was she?
I don't remember her character's name. She's in it. You definitely see her. She's not like dressed up as something.
Okay.
She's also in. I told you she's in. She Hate Me.
Let me see that one.
That's that. It's that Spike Lee movie with who's the dude that plays the Falcon?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony
Yeah.
Mackie. Anthony Mackie.
Okay.
He a whole bunch of these chicks are trying to get impregnated, and he's the one that impregnates them.
Oh, yeah,
But none of them want to have a relationship with him.
Okay.
And she's one of the chicks that he impregnates. It's like 2005, 2006. The reason I watched that movie, because I wasn't even really that interested in it, was a chick I went to high school with is in it. She's the she's the lover of Kerry Washington, because a lot of these chicks are lesbians.
Okay.
Have sex with him once, and they get pregnant, and I think all the chicks are lesbians actually. But yeah, so the girl I went to high school with, she was also the one in the third X-Men movie. She fights Halle Berry at the end.
Okay. You talking about the third one?
The third one. Her name is Dania Ramirez. She looks like she looks a lot like the chick from Guardians of the Galaxy, Gamora.
Oh, Gamora.
But
Yeah.
she was in
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, it's always in
her
that.
name is Dania Ramirez.
Oh, Donnie Ramirez. Okay. Donnie Ramirez?
Yeah, I think that's her last name, Ramirez.
You're outside of that.
Dania. As soon as you see her, you'll recognize her.
Okay.
She went out with AJ on The Sopranos. She was working at the construction site. She had the little boy, and she was on Entourage, and she was going out with Turtle.
I never saw Entourage.
You never watched that show?
Mm-mm.
Pretty good. You ever watch Sopranos?
Oh yeah.
Sopranos. Remember when Tony's son AJ was working at the construction site, and he started dating the chick with the kid?
Yeah, I remember that happening. I can't picture her face, but yeah.
She was like, she hot.
Yeah. I mean, hey, she made it to Hollywood, right?
Sure did. And he was on the cover of Maxim magazine, and I have that magazine in my yearbook to where her picture is in my yearbook.
That's funny.
Yeah, we weren't friends, but I knew her. I mean, I walked by her.
Yeah.
I put a name to the face, that kind of thing. She was a sophomore when I was a senior, so a couple years behind me. So, yep. So that was that. So guys, this show was fantastic. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching the show. What's Good with Gil and Larry is on every Wednesday at 9:00-ish. It's usually a sports show, but I want to do more of these top tens. I want to do more movies and music and have a category, because I love having Matt. I love having Michelle on. I mean, this is dope.
Absolutely.
I like Christmas feeling. I don't want to just do it once a year for just the holidays. And when the Oscars are coming up, let's agree on a topic of a type of movie genre, and let's do a top 10 on that. There's so many. It could be Oscar related, it could be mob, it could be whatever. You come up with it.
Yeah.
It could be British crime or whatever. Michelle, you're allowed to throw in some ideas in there too. Just as long as it's not, comedy romance. Please, no comedy romance. Please, please,
Just like
That's not my bag.
please. Gosh. With that being said, thank you all. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for tuning
Thanks
in.
for having me.
I thought everyone's list
Larry,
was
Gil, Michelle.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
believe
Thank
my
you.
hope was still the best, like I always do. Thank you so much, Matt. I'll see you around. Larry next week. Michelle, don't be a stranger. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
Happy
Have a
holidays.
Happy
great
New
great
Year.
holiday, man, and a happy New Year.
Larry, I'll
Absolutely.
see you
Back at you.
Monday.
Monday.
Got a basketball game to
Yes,
go to.
sir.
Philadelphia, here we come.
Here we
And we-
come. Hopefully Wemby will play.
Mark.
Hopefully Wemby will play.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very
Peace.
much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.